Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Uh, Boy, once in a while, I have to go back down a rabbit hole that is such an old, stupid rabbit hole. But, those of you who have asked me to do this is all your fault. Tonight's show is about Dr. Jonathan Reed, who some of you may remember from the 90s. Yes, every once in a while, the garbage peddlers, it's like whack-a-mole, you know? the hoax gets revealed, but the hoaxer comes back a decade later or more and runs their hoax on a whole new generation of people that maybe didn't hear what garbage it was the first time or the second time. I would say this is the third time that so-called Dr. Jonathan Reed has surfaced. There was the initial time he came out with a story in 1996. There was years later when he would find an ally in hoax promoter extraordinaire Jaime Maussan, who pushed this garbage all throughout Mexico and all over Central America as a true story, when indeed it can be easily proven to be 100% fake story. Spoiler alert, I guess. So we're going to dive deep into this tonight. And I would like to say that, I have in the past had my differences with Jimmy Church. He, for those unaware, has falsely copyright striked our channel here in order to stop us from doing just this kind of reporting, because he does not want you, the people listening to him, to know what level of garbage he is shoving down your throats. But tonight, I'm going to tell you all about the garbage peddler that he had on last night. And I'm tired of this. We've got lawyer letters standing by. By the way, I'm not going to use clips from Jimmy Church's show. Well, I'm lying. I'm going to use one 20-second clip in what may be a 2 or 3 hour broadcast. That's fair use. Don't you dare try to copyright strike me again, Jimmy Church. It didn't work out for you well last time. We defended our right to fair use, and it was determined that you falsely copyright striked us, falsely claimed we violated your copyright. No, we did not. No, we did not. But see, this is the tactics that he's willing to do. He doesn't want you to hear me. He doesn't want you to hear the other side of the coin. But that's what we are here. We can let these, Mother Goose fairy tale huckstering idiots do their thing. And then since they did their thing, we get to do ours here. We get the right to freedom of expression. We get the right to present actual facts, evidence, and information that proves that these people are peddling garbage. They don't like it when you hear the truth. And it's so funny to me, the truther community, right? Jimmy Church is at all these truther conferences while he's peddling this level of garbage down his listeners' throats, garbage down his viewers' throats. And he's not just pushing this fake information out on the internet. He's pushing this fake information out on terrestrial radio, apparently, in multiple markets. Why is he allowed to say that, this is a true story? Do we hear him say it's a true story? Or does he just let these hoax peddlers talk? And that gives him some form of liability, indemnity, like he's not responsible. Oh, we're just having a conversation. Yeah, use your discernment. In other words, I'm too lazy or too profiteering. I'm going beyond it. He cannot be this lazy. It's not laziness. This is intentional, him peddling garbage peddlers. And, I wish I had a more eloquent or diplomatic way to say this tonight, but I simply don't. So here goes. Jimmy Church is the biggest garbage peddler or enabler, if you will, of disinformation, fake stories, and hoaxes in the entire world of UFOs. He has pushed more than enough fakes, frauds, liars, fabricators, disinformation agents, hoaxers, and more. He's pushed enough of those kind of people to make P.T. Barnum blush. It's so bad. But recently, the levels that he has reached, peddling absolutely fake information as true, has now ascended to grand new heights. Because last night, in another desperate attempt to get views and keep his shitty show going, and I guess stay relevant somehow. I don't know how these people expect to stay relevant with fake information, right? People want real information about this stuff. People want the truth. They don't want you letting somebody that's a complete and total fraud, peddle garbage, fake stories. But that's what Jimmy does. See, because last night Jimmy Church pulled out an old, absolutely ridiculous hoaxed alien contact story and a fake doctor telling it. And Jimmy Church sat there like a dummy, just letting this fake doctor sell his wares, offering absolutely no pushback when that man was lying through his teeth. And I can prove it. We can prove things here. Jimmy Church can't prove anything except that he is too lazy to do any actual research, any actual work before presenting a story to his viewers and his audience. He doesn't care about you. He cares about selling that garbage coffee. He cares about sponsors. He cares about having a commercial every 5 minutes so he can get rich, making more and more money selling fake information to, and I hate to say this, but I think that the people listening to him must be low IQ or just don't care. They just want to hear a fairy tale, so they tune into Jimmy Church. It's the Jimmy Church fairy tale hour lately. It's ridiculous. So, Jimmy Church last night has a complete and total fraud, a proven liar, a proven fraudster, hoaxer. And what does he do? He just throws him softballs and lets him tell his fake stories. Jimmy Church does not care about the truth. He cares about finding another fantastical story that he could sell, and he doesn't give a damn if it's true. Still, to push this obvious of a fake story, he should really be ashamed of himself. This is an absolute new level of garbage, even for Jimmy Church. And that garbage is the Jonathan Reed fake alien story. The level of obvious and easily provable fakery and lies in this whole story are absolutely overwhelming. The hokiness and stupid so-called evidence that this guy has is so laughable, so funny. We're going to show you it tonight. And by the way, we're citing fair use for that as well. So we're going to show you most of that tonight. And the fact that Jimmy did absolutely no work, no research, and no vetting whatsoever before sitting there with this guy telling these fake stories, who's, by the way, he's a fake doctor, Jimmy Church. He's not a real doctor. Stop calling him Dr. Reed. He's not a doctor, Jimmy Church. You couldn't even do 5 minutes. You couldn't even make 2 phone calls and find out he wasn't a doctor. But don't worry, Jimmy Church, and don't worry, Jimmy Church listeners. We did the work for Jimmy Church because he's too much of a lazy slob to bring you the truth. So we're going to do the right thing. Where he did the wrong thing last night, we're going to do the right thing tonight, and we're going to bring you the truth about his guest, because he's either too lazy or too opportunistic to actually bring you the truth. So we'll do it for you, Jimmy. This isn't the first time that you've done this, and we've had to bring people the truth about a fake alien story you were pushing. So the latest garbage from Jimmy Church, the fake alien Jonathan Reed story. And by the way, that's not even his real name. Did you even know that, Jimmy Church? It's not his real name. He's not a real doctor, and that's not his real name. He's got a bunch of names, a whole bunch of names and aliases. Who needs 5 aliases? Some might argue that a con artist needs 5 identities or aliases, Jimmy Church. But this garbage of the Jonathan Reed fake alien story, the level of obvious and easily provable fakery and lies in this story are absolutely overwhelming. It's overwhelming, friends. Here's a man who claims he vets everything on his show 3 times. Jimmy Church, he claimed that. But we've seen time and time again, he vets nothing. He researches nothing. Jimmy Church apparently is an intellectual weakling and a coward too, because he won't debate me on what he's platforming on his show. He won't have a discussion with me. And by the way, I promise I would be respectful, but I'd like to ask Jimmy Church some questions like, why did you let David Wilcock promote a provable GoFundMe scam on your show? Why did you let David Wilcock promote a provable fake PayPal donation scam for Emery Smith? He promoted that on your show, Jimmy Church. Why did you let that happen? Why did you let somebody come on your show and steal a total, I'm told, of over $110,000 from the UFO community for those 2 fake fundraisers? Why When you were given overwhelming evidence that that took place on your show, did you not comment on what happened? Did you not apologize to the people that became victims of the people that you were platforming on your show, selling those fake stories and begging people in the UFO community for money? You claim you've read everything 3 times? No, I don't think so. Jimmy Church gets by helping people peddle garbage, disinformation, and fake stories. After all, he's the person who largely helped popularize such fraud, fakery, fake whistleblowers as Corey Good. He platforms David Wilcock and Emery Smith, Sarah R. Adams, all of which are extremely problematic at best. And the list goes on and on. But Reed is a superstar of fakery and fraudery, as we will see tonight, friends. And he is so obviously fake that even I'm surprised Jimmy had the balls to run with this one, right? To sink this low into his so-called career. I put that in quotes, air quotes, career. This is a new low, even for Jimmy, because the story and the person peddling it are absolutely garbage. But that's what Jimmy does. He's one of the garbage men of ufology. He peddles the garbage stories he finds, like a bottom feeder. He doesn't care about his viewers or listeners. He only cares about pushing the next provably fake story as real to you people. And some of you people, you eat it up because the truth, my friends, is boring. He doesn't bring you the truth because the truth is boring. Nobody wants to buy boring. Boring doesn't sell. The truth does not sell. Lies, friends. He brings you exciting lies, and those exciting lies sell. Now, he did false copyright strike us before in an effort to conceal some of the things going on his show. I believe, that's my opinion, I'm entitled to it. He tried to stomp all over our free speech, but we're still here. We have the right to express our opinions, especially when we have overwhelming evidence that backs up everything that we're going to be saying. Why would he attempt to stop us from doing that, friends? You have to ask yourself, why would somebody falsely copyright strike somebody revealing the truth about the people that he is platforming, the people that are guests on his show? So, and also it's important to note that most recently, before this fake story, Jimmy pushed Linda Moulton Howe's fake alien pictures, where his guest was using 100% provably fake pictures of aliens, saying that they were real. And he let her sell that garbage. Now he's on to his new latest pile of steaming bullshit, the Jonathan Reed case. Oh, and so for those unfamiliar with the case, I will give you a breakdown, but it's actually a breakdown that's written by Reed himself on a sock puppet account, pumping up how great his story is. Because his story begins in 1996, when an apparently very educated man, a doctor, a child psychologist named Dr. Jonathan Reed, came out with this incredible story. And let's get to it, friends. 1 second. I've got so many notes here. According to this post I found, more than 700 Congress attendees were present at Reed's recent talk. Interest in the former child psychologist's case is due in large part to his appearances on several Art Bell programs. Reed, accompanied by writer and supporter Robert Wraith, his buddy that helped him sell this hoax, gave a tearful and emotional account of meeting a part reptilian, part gray alien while on a walk with his dog. He expressed particularly intense sorrow when he talked about watching his dog die. That's right, friends. In this story, not only does the dog die, but the alien rips its head off and rips it apart. As the story goes, this post goes on to say, the dog veered away from their intended path, and when Reed caught up to his pet, a vibrating alien was shaking and attacking the dog to the point where its head ripped in half and disintegrated into a pile of white ash. Oh, this is terrible, even for bad science fiction. The post goes on to say that after the dog was killed, Reed struck the alien with a baseball bat and captured on film the creature and its accompanying obelisk, which is possibly a spaceship or doorway into another dimension. In this video, which he played before a UFO Congress, the UFO Congress audience. Reed can be heard panting heavily to the point of hyperventilating. However, critics say the video didn't shake enough and his panic was too audible to be authentic. Reed took the alien home where he made a video of it, because that's what you do. When an alien kills your dog in front of you and then you baseball bat the alien in the head in the middle of the woods while you're hiking, you take the alien home. So the Post goes on to say he took home the 4.5-foot tall being. He told the audience that his attempts to outfit the alien's clothes were thwarted as its black spandex-like outfit automatically sewed itself up. When asked whether it was male or female, Reed said he didn't know, adding offhandedly that he hadn't made love to her. So he didn't try to bang the alien. Good for him. Ultimately, the being disappeared from Reed's freezer, presumably because it was stolen by burglars who reportedly had government license plate. Yeah, great story, but none of this actually is true. And I can say that with such a high degree of certainty. And we're going to get into the specific reasons for that. But hey, you've got to show the money shot. So let me put my fair use banner up, friends. We need our fair use banner because we're going to be sharing Reed's original video that he showed as proof of his alien encounter. And so this is a transformative work. We have transformed the video. We're educating the public. We're critiquing this video that we're sharing. This is covered under fair use, and it's certainly allowable by law. Now, I thought it best, friends, maybe I'll do some commentary over this so-called evidence of an alien encounter later. But for right now, I want to make sure that you get to see this money shot, because this is some shit. This man claims that he was in the woods and then his dog ran over to an alien and the alien grabbed it by the snout and ripped it in half. And then the dog evaporated into white ash. And then Reed said, "I'm not taking this shit. You just killed my dog, alien." And he got a baseball bat, because everybody carries a baseball bat with them when they're on a hiking trail, just taking a hike, right? He took the baseball bat and he cracked the shit out of that alien. He busted his head open. It was awesome. And then, because he was hiking and had a baseball bat with him, and his dog just anyway, I'm not sure why, but he had lots of film cameras with him and a video camera. Just so happened to have an early VHS mini recorder and some 35 millimeter film. So he started documenting that spaceship and the alien, and he took pictures and videos. Then he took the alien home and messed with it. And we're going to see the proof of this. And then he put it in the freezer, but it didn't stay in the freezer because it was still alive and it was crawling in and out and it was creepy as shit. Oh, this is such a bad story. And the evidence, my friends, is equally as bad. Now, I have to be very clear in saying that we can break down how he actually made this stupid fake alien dummy, and we will. But for now, I thought it was important. You got to see this guy's money shots. This is his overwhelming proof of his alien encounter. Let's see the money shot, friends. Well, friends, I would agree with the late, great Art Bell. That is awful. Awful if you're going to say that this is evidence. First of all, on the subject of the spaceship, shown in his videos and films, he used a very common magic illusion. It's called a Super X levitation. Uh, and I don't want to get beat up by a bunch of magicians, so I'm not going to go into explicit detail. But if you're interested in how he faked a diamond-shaped black spacecraft floating in the woods, it's called a Super X levitation. As far as the alien dummy, myself or anyone familiar with puppets and costuming, um, having done any kind of work on theatrical productions, will instantly recognize what he is calling an alien body as a wireframe foam mannequin. These are very, very common in the entertainment industry, often used in the place of a person in horror films and more. And here we could see one such of those products. Now, I had one of these myself, but mine was not quite as well defined as these look to be. But what you get with a mannequin like this is a wireframe underneath this, which makes it very posable. And we can see that this is a very, very close match for what we see in his so-called proof of alien video. Now, people have asked me for my opinion on the actual alien face, and if I had to guess, I would say it was created out of either a latex mold, or it was just something as stupid and simple as paper machete, as many people have suggested. Interestingly, the face of the alien gets better as time went on, and Jonathan Reed kept selling this fake story. He would take stills and then they would color in additional details to make the alien face more realistic than it actually was in the original so-called evidence. That's proof right there that somebody's trying to sell you a garbage fake piece of evidence. Now, as bad as this is, it gets worse. It gets much, much worse, friends, because along with the story of the alien encounter in the forest came another story, which is actually much more easily proven to be false, because Dr. Jonathan Reed, who isn't a doctor, we'll show proof of that shortly, he claimed that after his encounter with the aliens, the men in black came and ransacked his house, and they threatened him, and they threatened his family, and they threatened his friends, and they stole away all the evidence, well, except for the evidence that he managed to hide. And I'm just here to tell you, you know, if the real government wanted to take something from you, they would have no problem doing it. But somehow we're supposed to believe that he spirited away copies of these alien pictures and the incredible videotaped evidence of this alien in his garage to friends and family, and all of this cloak and dagger fake James Bond, bad James Bond ripoff movie plotline. It's garbage. It's really stupid. And by the way, if one were a really good researcher, one could talk to this person's neighbors who would say, never heard of the Men in Black, never saw the police outside of his door, as he claims. But, you know, if you like fairy tales, then don't worry, but don't let facts and evidence get in the way of a good bullshit story about aliens. So here we have, I'm going to cite fair use again. This is a transformative work. We are educating the public about fake Dr. Jonathan Reed and his silly fake alien stories. So he appeared at a huge UFO conference in 1997. This was a highly hyped up story until it all came crashing down. And the facilitators and the enablers of this fake disinformation were all people that were profiting right alongside Dr. Jonathan Reed about this fake story. It was people like UFO conference organizers, show hosts, whoever. There was always something to gain for letting this guy tell his fake alien stories. And gain they did, until the entire story came crashing down and falling apart. But that didn't stop somebody like Jimmy Church from pulling this old pile of shit out of the closet of fake garbage and recycling it to sell to a whole new generation of stupid people, I guess. Let's hear what the fake doctor, he's not a doctor, we have proof, said about what happened after he took that alien back into his garage. And by the way, the ridiculousness, it is ridiculous. He beat up an alien and he drug it home. And, again, he just so happened while he was hiking to have an emergency thermal blanket with him that he could wrap up the alien in. He just so happened to have a baseball bat with him while he was hiking so he could beat the shit out of that alien and smash its fake skull in. Yeah, and by the way, for those who are wondering, in case you didn't catch it, aliens apparently bleed red just like people. And did you see that situation where he was like, he peels the eyelid off of the alien and looks at it, and then he just sticks the eyelid back on. And this is supposed to be a real doctor. Anyway, it is ridiculous. And the movement of the mouth, somebody asked me about. If you had any latex appliance or something like that, and you squeezed it, you would see some mouth movement. This is not, Spielberg level of special effects. But we're going to see what he said about it. Then we're going to get into some of the specific fake claims that he made on Jimmy Church's show that Jimmy Church didn't even ask him about while he was lying through his teeth. It's awesome. So let's see what the fake doctor has to say about those men in black and what happened after he took that alien back to his house.
Now, that in itself is a very small piece of this puzzle that I have been through. People have said, gee, I wish I had that experience. Well, I'll tell you, I'd trade places with you any time. Because since that day, my life is gone. Everything that I knew prior to that is gone. My job, my friends, my bank accounts, my social security number, everything. And why? Because I saw something? Because I didn't turn it over to somebody who told me to turn it over? Because people came to my house and said, you didn't see anything, Jonathan. And if you have anything, you best give it to us, because the next people that come won't be so kind. And I told them to get out of my house. And I said, I'm going to call the police. They said, go ahead, they're with us. And they were. They were sitting out in front of my house. Now, this is a hard lesson to take. I was brought up to believe different things happen in this country. But my rights have been totally taken away from me. And all I ask is that people open their minds and understand that this stuff may be going on to some of us. Maybe not you, maybe not your neighbor, but I know it's going on to hundreds of people in this country and other countries. I know there is a very dark force that is suppressing this information. I know that there is a lot of information that a few of us, not me, I know very little. But there are a few people who know a great deal, and we need to listen to them. And we need to realize that not everything that we've always been told is true. And that not everyone who stands in this room stands for the truth and the freedom of information. And there are a couple of people in this room that I know that work for the government, that posture as normal people, that stand there and try to emulate one of the rest of us. And those people know who they are, don't they? But we need to realize this. We need to know that those people are with us. Where am After I brought this thing home, I went in my house and I tried to regain some composure. And I tried to think this through. I tried to find some kind of rational logic to deal with what I was experiencing. Had I gone through shock? Had my dog been killed by something that I just did not want to wrap my mind around? Possibly. And after a while, that's what I started to believe. I started to believe that maybe my mind had totally invented this whole thing, and that wrapped in my thermal blanket was my dog. And I got to the point where I had to check. I had to go back and look. So I went out of my house and I walked to where I had put this thing, which was in my freezer in my garage. And as odd as that may sound, where would you put this thing? And I opened my freezer and I laid this out on the floor, and it wasn't my dog. And I brought this thing in my house and laid it on the floor and videotaped it.
Oh, yes. The garbage information is getting thick. And somebody commented on the bad muzak in that piece. That was his muzak that he added for dramatic effect over his terrible acting here. And it's interesting to point out that Dr. Reed claimed that after his alien encounter, he was so harassed and hounded by government sources trying to silence him. And did you hear that line about the disinformation agents in the room? That was a belief at the time. So he's playing to the audience. Yeah, there's disinformation agents here right now trying to stop the truth from getting out. Garbage, garbage. And it's interesting to note that Dr. Jonathan Reed claimed that he was on the run from that terrible government. He just left everything behind and dropped his whole life, and he was on the run for a year or two. And it turns out, no, he wasn't. And his neighbors, if you're careful enough to actually do some research and talk to the neighbors during that time period, was living in his parents' house like every other time. He was not on the run from the government. And he even claimed at one time that he was on the run from the government in a Jeep. And a researcher better than me, UFO Watchdog, did some incredible research and found the bill of sale for the Jeep that he claims that he was on the run with from the government. And it turns out that he bought that Jeep many months, more than a year after he claimed this event happened, and he went on the run with the Jeep he didn't own. Little things add up, friends. Now, UFO Watchdog and other researchers have also confirmed that all of his educational credential claims are fake. He did not go to the undergraduate school, he said. He did not go. He has no master's thesis that we can look at. Claimed to have a master's and a PhD. There's no PhD, friends. There's no record of him attending any of the prestigious schools that he claimed that he attended. Does this story sound a little familiar? It's as if he took a page from the Bob Lazar book. And of course, the government erased all of his records. But it can be verified through people close to him, friends, family, and others, that he never went to any of the prestigious schools that this man claimed that he went to. Further, it can be verified that he was not now, nor was he then, ever a doctor. And even his ex-wife and stepdaughter busted him for not being a real doctor and confronted him for not being a real doctor. This entire story is fabricated. Even the guy's name is not true. But nothing, my friends, nothing can prepare you for the ridiculousness of the alien bracelet. That's right. Not only did his dog get ripped apart, And then he had a club of alien with a baseball bat he just happened to have with him while he was hiking in the woods, and carry that alien back with him in a solar blanket, emergency blanket he just happened to have with him while he was hiking in the woods. And he kept that alien in his freezer. Not only did all that happen, but he also, friends, got an alien artifact called the Link. And the Link apparently is a link between the wearer and the aliens. And it gives the wearer of that artifact superpowers. That's right. You guys know this. Anytime somebody starts talking about their superpowers, I check out and say, this story is probably fake. There's no such thing as superpowers. But according to Jonathan Reed, if you just put this alien bracelet on you, you get superpowers and you can teleport. However, he created a fake hoax video of him using the alien device and teleporting that Dr. Reed, the fake doctor, claimed he teleported on a live television show. But the truth, the real truth, is that he was on a real live television show. And the host of that show, he was showing this alien bracelet to and talking about how it gave you superpowers. They challenged him to put it on and use it. And he made all kinds of excuses for why he couldn't activate the alien artifact device called the Link, the alien armband. Later, many months later, he would create this fake hoaxed video where he's claiming he is on a live television show and he uses the alien artifact and then he disappears and then he reappears. But the bad special effects are so bad on this, but it's so bad it's good. So we're going to watch it and we're going to cite fair use. Of course, I'm not the one putting out these ridiculous claims. Jonathan Reed is. He said this was an alien artifact. He said he did this on national television. No, friends, he never did this on any national television show. He never did this on any live television show. This is a hoaxed YouTube video. That's all it is. And it can be substantially proven with supportive evidence that Mr. Jonathan Reed took the sound effects from this hoax video from a known Hollywood movie. And to the best as I recall in my recollection, the sound effects were matched by a researcher to be sound effects from the movie Eyes Wide Shut. Why he would choose that, I don't know. But the point remains that someone matched the sound effects in this fake hoax video 100% to a Hollywood movie. If this really happened on live television, you wouldn't have sound effects pulled from a Hollywood movie to put in there to make it more believable. The only explanation for this is that he faked this. He hoaxed this, like he hoaxed his fake education, like he hoaxed the story about going on the run in some Jeep he didn't even own yet, like he faked working for disabled children. He never worked for with or for disabled children. And by the way, what kind of a slime ball makes up working with developmentally delayed children or disabled children to sell a fake alien story? Well, Jonathan Reed does. He has no proof he ever worked with children. He's not a real doctor. He's not a psychiatrist. He's not a psychologist. He barely graduated high school, friends. But let's take a look at this because this is so ridiculous. This is the alien artifact that he found in the woods when he clubbed that alien for killing his dog, friends, and it gives him superpowers. And according to him, he disappeared live on television. You can believe it if you want to. This is the level of garbage. This is what Jimmy Church thinks constitutes evidence. And by the way, Jimmy Church, you are absolutely clown shoes ridiculous for even listening to this guy after we see this. You didn't see this clip? I know. He's had to have seen this clip. This clip has made the rounds. It's the subject of ridicule and laughter the world over throughout the entire UFO community. People make fun of this video and how hokey and stupid and ridiculous it is. Not Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church thinks this shit is evidence.
It's painful, but if I hold my chest
This, my friends, is absolutely laughable to me. And the fact that Jimmy Church knows this exists, he has to know this exists. Everybody that has even done a very cursory look into this guy's story has seen this video and laughed about it. Didn't stop Jimmy Church from going, yeah, we'll do a show pretending that this is a real story. Absolute garbage. And listen, there were some specific claims made last night on Jimmy Church's show. And so before we get to all of the debunk items that I can share with you, and by the way, we have so much. We have a mountain of it would take me 5 hours to get through the mountain of evidence that this man is a fraud and a liar. There is so much out there, but the best and most distinct to my finding was from UFO Watchdog, who did this debunk at the time it was happening, when the story originally came out. And we're going to share a lot of that. But before we do, there are some specific claims that he made. First of all, I just wanted to say that this man has made a lot of ridiculous claims besides all this alien stuff. For example, he claims that more than 700 Congress attendees were present at a talk he gave, and that interest in him being a former child psychologist and his case is due to the large part due to his appearance on several Art Bell programs. Well, that may be true. Art Bell, he went on Art Bell and told the story originally. But for somebody to claim that they, spoke with 700 congressmen, first of all, there isn't 700 congressmen. If you add up everybody in Congress, it's only 535 people at any one given time. So we're supposed to believe that he's not lying. And not only did he talk to every sitting member of Congress, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate, all the congressmen and all the senators all at once, but he got an additional 165, I guess, retired congressmen and senators to listen to him tell his alien stories. 700 congressmen he talked to about his case. Come on, friends. Can we talk to them? Can we verify? Of course not. This is trust me, dude, research. This is statements and proclamations. They're not going to offer any evidence of that. And it's also important to note, he claimed, I have some notes here, 44 minutes into his appearance during his new resurgence on Jimmy Church's show, Reed says, prior to this, I wasn't interested in ufology. That is an absolute false statement, because we can talk to former friends. We can talk to family members, including a once wife and stepdaughter, who say he was obsessed with X-Files since it came out in 1993. Absolutely obsessed with the X-Files show. That's all he talked about. It's further can be established that Reed was fascinated by Disneyland and special effects and how they did everything. And he was somewhat of an expert in how special effects were created. Now, I don't find him an expert based on this garbage evidence, but, at least he had a hobbyist's interest in how to make, fake monsters or aliens and how to film things or whatever. So for him to go on Jimmy Church and claim, prior to this, I wasn't interested in ufology. He was obsessed with science fiction, UFOs, aliens, and X-Files. As soon as X-Files came out, it was all he spoke about. So if you ask me, I think that this fake doctor wrote himself his own episode of X-Files, and that's where this whole fake story came from. It plays like a X-Files episode if you think about it. We've got someone having an alien encounter, somebody gathering evidence. Oh, the government comes and whisks that evidence away, right? Those evil men in black. 45 minutes in, he talks about his fake education and how he worked at a summer camp for kids with disabilities. Me, in full disclosure, I have a son who has a disability. He's nonverbal autistic. He's very special needs. He's got a lot of special needs. And I have a lot of contempt for people who pretend that they work to help children with disabilities. I mean, it's bad enough he's selling a fake alien story, but to tack on to that, hey, I'm a good person because I help kids with disabilities, being a psychiatrist like I am, except he's not a psychiatrist. He's a fraud and a fake. He's not a doctor. He barely graduated high school, this guy. said he loved working with children with developmental disabilities. Great. 47 minutes in, again, he says he had zero interest in UFOs or the paranormal, and he didn't even like science fiction. This is a problem, because if you were to speak to his neighbors where he's lived for many years, and his family members are also on the record stating that he was absolutely obsessed with science fiction, aliens, and UFOs. And he would even do strange things like dress up children in the family as aliens and take pictures of them. Does that sound like someone obsessed with the X-Files, somebody who is obsessed with science fiction stories and dressing up children as aliens and taking pictures, also obsessed with special effects and how creatures are created and things like that? Does that sound like a hoaxer to you, or a hoaxer in the making? Because it does to me. It doesn't sound like somebody that has no interest in the UFOs or the paranormal. That's an absolutely false statement. And by the way, Jimmy Church, all this information is out there. And if you had done a shred of actual work vetting this guy, you would have found the same facts I have just relayed. But we have the truth on our side, and you are a garbage peddler, sir. Okay, so also he talks about escaping in his Jeep right after this event happened in 1996, but there is a big problem with that. And here is where good research catches these guys doing amateur hour mistakes. And here's one of those mistakes. Now, remember, the fake doctor claimed that he was on the run from the government right after October of 1996. But here we have the bill of sale for the Jeep that he claimed that he escaped in, and the bill of sale is April of 1997. So Jonathan Reed lied. He wants you to believe that he went on the run from the government in his trusty Jeep, except he didn't buy the Jeep till a year after or more after the incident with the alien apparently took place. These are the kind of things that matter, Jimmy Church. Facts matter. And if this man is going to claim that he went on the run with a vehicle he didn't even own, that plus his fake education to most people is enough to say, I'm going to check out here. I'm not going to listen to this garbage. But not Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church thinks it's a good idea to sell a fake story, to help someone sell a fake story. And here we go again with Jimmy Church shoveling fake information into the UFO community. And nobody seems to care, and nobody seems to mind, as that clown gets richer and richer selling stupid people this kind of fairy tale nonsense. All right. So there is an awful lot. There is a mountain of data that we can go through, and data points that prove this man is a fraud, a liar, and a hoaxer. But we can begin with some of the UFO watchdog evidence. And by the way, it's also important to note, Jimmy Church, maybe you missed it, but the Fact or Faked crowd, excellent television show, they recreated all of Reed's so-called evidence, shot for shot, almost exactly, and declared him a fraud and a liar and a fake. They were able to easily reproduce all of his so-called evidence. So what we have here, when you start adding up the lie log, I like to keep that log going. It's a lie log. We have, he lied about his education. He lied about working with children. He lied about his house getting ransacked. He lied about not being interested in science fiction or UFOs. He lied about having no knowledge of special effects or creature creation, when his family and friends will tell you he was obsessed with those things. He lied about escaping in a Jeep he didn't even own at the time. Oh, and by the way, my favorite, do you remember the part of the story that begins with his dog getting ripped apart by an alien and murdered? Well, that turns out to be a complete and total lie, because if one cares, Jimmy Church, if one cares to actual evidence, you will find on the record sources, neighbors of Jonathan Reed at the time, who will verify with you that that dog was alive after the year 2000. That's right. The dog that this fake doctor claims the aliens ripped apart in 1996 and murdered was still living happily, like nothing happened, with this man at his parents' home in as late as 2001, some 5 years after he claimed an alien ripped it apart. It's facts like this that matter. And Jimmy Church wants you to just forget all these facts. It doesn't matter that the dog wasn't dead in 1996. It doesn't matter. Just eat the fake alien story. Suck that shit down as they jam this fake story down your throat. All right, so I'm going to share several pages from UFO Watchdog, and he and I agree on most things. I should mention that I often will go after someone just to be sure that I'm not just reading off his information. I have fact checked. I've done research of my own. I've talked to people close to this person. And I also verified both that his educational claims are all completely and totally fake, fabricated. He never went to any of the schools that he claimed he did. There's no master's thesis. He's not in any of the yearbooks. To some people, that story may be a little bit familiar. Oh, all these advanced education claims, and the school has absolutely no record of him. And before you get into the Men in Black explanation, like, oh, they erased his identity and his social security number. This man was a underachieving loser who lived with his parents. This man was not highly educated. None of his educational claims pan out. Not any of them. But there's more lies and more lies and more lies, and it just gets thicker and thicker. I don't even know where to begin. Let's start with one of UFO Watchdog's excellent pages. It starts, what if he had a dead alien? Claim. One of Reed's most outrageous claims involves Peter Davenport, the director of the National UFO Reporting Center located in Seattle, Washington. On national radio, that would be the Art Bell Show, Reed claims that his friend, known only as Gary, called the National UFO Reporting Center and spoke directly to Davenport. Reed claims Gary asked what type of questions regarding the so-called alien Reed was storing in a freezer at his home. Reed stated it was about the 17th of October when the call was placed. But here's the fact. UFO Watchdog spoke with Davenport a few days after Reed made this claim. Davenport told me he would have remembered such a conversation had it actually taken place, which it didn't. Dr. Tim Haley received the following email report from Davenport. In response to your recent email, I write to you again, say thank you for having done the legwork to get the facts regarding Jonathan Reed. For your interest when the story first surfaced, the principals involved asserted on a nationwide program that have contacted the center to report the alleged incident. So Peter Davenport is saying it didn't happen. He never contacted those people. Now, this goes on to say, one question I have is why Art Bell would allow Reed to drag Davenport's good name through the scam, especially considering Davenport is somewhat of a regular on Bell's program. So the alien DNA chain, the dramatics didn't stop with Reed disclosing the discovery of his alleged alien artifact. Reed also claims that biological samples have been collected from the alien. I thought the Men in Black stole all of his evidence. Now he's got biological samples. Isn't that convenient? He claimed that his friend Gary had taken the samples, hidden them, and sent them to Reed at a later time. Oh, sure, there's the explanation for why the Men in Black didn't get the alien samples. Reed claimed to have a microbiologist named Dr. Harold Chacon from the Catholic University of Puerto Rico analyzed the samples and found them to be extraterrestrial. It was alleged that Chacon received this microbiology degree from the Catholic University of Puerto Rico. But here's where it gets great. So Reed is saying, hey, I gave these alien samples to this biologist, and he said they're aliens. But here's the fact. The Catholic University of Puerto Rico didn't offer degrees in microbiology, and there's no record of any Harold Chacon or any DNA analysis. Reed has absolutely no proof of this. He hasn't presented any scientific findings, analysis, documentation, or DNA sequencing charts. The person using the name Harold Chacon appeared on Coast to Coast AM, sounded nothing like a scientist, and did nothing but present his word as proof. Now Reed is alleging that Chacon has thrown a beating, courtesy of those ever-loving evil government thugs, and is now living out of the country and gone underground. So here we have one fake doctor claiming that another fake doctor analyzed the DNA and said it was aliens. And somehow Jimmy Church missed these very important facts that there's 2 fake doctors. Now we got 2 fake doctors talking about these fake aliens. This is awesome, Jimmy Church. Did you not do 5 minutes? Did you don't know how to use Google? One of your children ought to show you, old man. You're too old for this. Retire. You're too sloppy. This is garbage level work. Come on, bro. All right. Here's more claims. Further states in a summary about Reed's tale that Dr. Roger Haddock, the director of anatomical pathology for UW Public Health Research Chemist Michael Wessels, was murdered for their alleged involvement in analyzing Reed's alien tissue and blood. And it is true that this Dr. Haggett was a victim of a homicide, but as a result of his alleged involvement, not as a result of his alleged involvement in Reed's ridiculous story. By the way, so we've got a fake doctor who claims another fake doctor did a DNA analysis, but that guy's completely and totally fake. So the first fake guy says the second fake guy analyzed the DNA, and that's an alien. And then we come to a third doctor who is actually a real doctor and was a famous murder-homicide case right where this guy, Jonathan Rudder, also known as Jonathan Reed, the fake doctor, lived. And isn't it convenient? Oh, that guy that was murder-suicided recently? Yeah, he's the guy that did the DNA analysis. But then, according to Reed, on Jimmy Church's show, the Men in Black came in and stole all of that doctor's research. Bullshit, bullshit. You know how I know that? Because I talked to that guy's replacement who told us that they only removed personal belongings of Dr. Roger Haggett after the murder and gave those personal belongings in his office and whatever areas he had access to where he had anything personal, personal things. They put it all in a box and they gave it to his surviving relatives. No one, according to people at the University of Washington that preceded this man after his murder, remember any Men in Black, any government agents. No one, friends, came and took anything from Dr. Roger Haggett. This means we've got one fake doctor claiming another fake doctor did the DNA analysis and that a murdered doctor also did a DNA analysis, but no evidence exists that that doctor ever met with or did anything with Dr. Reed. I believe he just went, oh, that guy got murdered. Let's claim he did it and tie the Men in Black in. So as for research chemist Michael Wessels, an outdoor enthusiast, he left for a biking trip into the Cascade Mountains sometime in August. He failed to show up for work, and a search party later recovered his body. He died as a result of falling from a cliff he was scaling. Gee, isn't it great this guy keeps picking dead people to reinforce? If you need a dead guy to prove that your fake alien story is true, and then you got to tie in the Men in Black with his death, it's garbage. It's garbage. So in Dr. Reed's book, he called the person who introduced him to the Alliance Professor X. He described him as a world-renowned astrophysicist and astronomer, as someone who died in Seattle in 1996. You do the math. So he's also, somehow he's putting Carl Sagan into his fake story. So we've got a fake doctor with another fake doctor with a murdered doctor, and now he's claiming Carl Sagan is involved in this thing. We are doing the math, UFO Watchdog states. It adds up to absolutely zero. Aside from conjecture, innuendos, and baseless claim, there has not been one shred of proof presented to back any of these outlandish claims. Reed stipulates that several people have been murdered, yet doesn't want to give out names for fear of jeopardizing the families of those people. Well, he apparently had no problem alleging that Dr. Chacon, Dr. Haggett, Michael Wessels, or Carl Sagan were involved. Yeah, and UFO Watchdog goes on to wonder if the families of those people know that this man is using them in a fraud, fake alien story designed to make him money. And, another thing that may be familiar to some people is that Dr. Jonathan Reed claims that he doesn't ask for donations or anything. He doesn't make any money from this story. But then he pumps his book that you can buy on Amazon about this fake story. Amazing, friends. Absolutely amazing. So, we've gone through that. Well, there's one more thing that I really definitely wanted to share with you, and that is more overwhelming evidence and proof that this man lied. because this man actually was stupid enough. Dr. Jonathan Reed, fake doctor, was stupid enough to give negatives of his so-called alien proof photos to researchers. And for people that don't remember film, there's codes on the film that tell you what date the film was manufactured and when it was sold to the public or introduced to the public. So there's a huge problem with Reed's photo negative evidence in that essentially he claims he took these pictures in 1996, but an analysis of the actual negatives proves that that film wasn't even available for purchase to the public until later in 1997. I know that may be a little thing to somebody, but it's another absolutely good indicator that he's lying to you. Shell game, and this again is from UFO Watchdog's website. I will put the full link to the entire debunk, which is like, I don't know, 80 pages long. There's like 80 pages of evidence that this guy is a fraud, all of which were ignored by Jimmy Church and anybody stupid enough to believe this guy. Shell game claimed, Dan Arias states on his website, in October of 2000, I took a trip to visit this person to show him the actual negatives that I wanted him to authenticate. This individual was Bob Shell, editor of Shutterberg magazine. He also has extensive background in photography and is well respected by technical staff at Kodak. Great. So fact, IARIA did indeed leave Bob Shell examine the negatives to see if they were actual negatives. But Aria's claim of Shell's analysis is not only overinflated, but there are major problems with Reed's negatives. Even the negatives are fake, or there's some form of fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery going on here. Bob Shell, editor of Shutterberg magazine and author of over a dozen books on photography, is a recognized photographic consultant who has testified as an expert witness in federal court. Reed supporter Dan Aria met with Shell in October 2000 and presented Reed's negatives for analysis. Shell's evaluation, however, was limited to determine if the negatives were normally exposed photograph negatives or did not consist of analysis of actual images presented represented on the negatives. So, yeah, he's just looking at the negatives to see if they're real Kodak negatives, and they are. Shell stated the negatives were authentic, and IARIA posted the results to his site as proof positive. Pardon me. What month is this? So UFO Watchdog contacts Bob Shell after learning of the analysis, and Shell stated he did examine the photographic negatives presented to him and concluded that they were normal negatives. Shell was asked if he did any type of in-depth analysis of the images, and he stated he did not. However, Shell did express concern with regard to the production date of the negatives and suggested that if I contact Kodak production information department and spoke with a film specialist. So every roll of the film that he used is encoded with film identifier numbers. And this becomes a real problem. When asked for production dates in the film, Kodak represented that the 400 speed 6th generation Kodak film went into production in November 1996 and was introduced to the market in February of 1997. So again, Reed claims that he took pictures of these aliens and that alien spacecraft in October of 1996, a full 1 month. Somehow he manages to take pictures with film that wasn't even manufactured till a month after he said he took the pictures and wasn't available for purchase to the public until February of 1997. That's a big problem. So UFO Watchdog contacted Bob Shell and asked for his professional opinion regarding the possibility of the negatives being copied. Shell stated that he had contacted IARIA about the film production dates. IARIA was reported to have said the negatives Shell examined were copies of a slide film taken in 1996. About the possibility of the negatives being copied, Shell stated, I looked at the two of the negatives, the same ones in the website, and I saw nothing that would lead me to believe that they were copies from slides. I don't buy it. So here we have them purposefully trying to manipulate a photography expert into saying these are real negatives. And even if they're real negatives, doesn't mean they're real negatives of what he says he's taking the pictures of. So UFO Watchdog contacted Kodak, decided to verify the information again. A specialist in Kodak's product information department was asked about the production and marketing dates for both types of film. And here we come back, November 1996, introduced to the market in 1997. And Kodak's, the next kind of film he used is in November 1996 and introduced to the market in January 1997. Reed claims his encounter occurred October 1996, 2 to 3 months before the film was even available. It would be, of course, impossible for Reed to have taken pictures with this film since it didn't exist at the time of his alleged encounter. And then he says, case closed. So there is an overwhelming, friends, amount of evidence piling up about this person. And, you know, one could be surprised that somebody would be stupid enough or selfish enough to push this level of garbage and disinformation into the UFO community. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. As long as people click on it, I'll make money. That's the Jimmy Church school of thought. And by the way, the last person that tried to shovel this nonsense and make a little money off of the fake Dr. Jonathan Reed was Third Phase of Moon. Congratulations, Jimmy Church. You have now descended into the depths of UFO fakery, fraudery, and forgery equal to Third Phase of Moon garbage peddlers. Congratulations. So, there's a lot more that I could share with you. There is an absolute treasure trove of information indicating that this person is not who he says he was. And I will put a link in the description of the video to the main page on UFO Watchdog's website. And there is a treasure trove of information, including the co-conspirators that helped him sell this garbage, right? UFO Watchdog, I think, sums it up with excuses. The Dr. Reed supporters, fanatics, and the faithful, if you will, they have undoubtedly started yelling conspiracy, but the story has been slapped together to discredit Dr. Reed's alien encounter in order to cover up the truth. Perhaps we now hear that Dr. Reed was an alias for Rudder to protect him from the bad guys. Those that once supported the case will more than likely now start talking about how they knew something just wasn't right about the case from the beginning. No, a bunch of people helped him peddle this garbage, including some somewhat well-known UFO people like most notably Jaime Maussan. We've got Dan McAvoy. We've got Dan Iaria, also known as Dante Arias. Sean Atlanti. He pushed this case. He claims to have investigated UFO cases for over 20 years. And these aren't all the people that are supporting this hoax or have supported it throughout the years. Many, many people have. Someone in the live chat commented that Linda Moulton Howe had an 8-hour talk with Dr. Jonathan Reed and declared that he was being truthful and his entire story had to be true. Why? Because she got a good feeling that he was telling the truth about those aliens. It is absolutely ridiculous that this level of garbage, fakery, fraudery goes on, but it does. I mean, there is nothing else. And it's interesting also to note that after his story was busted as a complete and total fake in the United States, he went on to push this level of garbage all throughout South America and Mexico. And there is information there. And also somebody did indeed write a letter to the International UFO Congress because they platformed this guy. And it's interesting to note, hold on, I have to make this a little bit bigger and then we're going to share this. There was an open letter written about how fake this guy was to the International UFO Congress, outlining all of his fakery and fraudery. An open letter to the International Congress. This came from Tim Haley. This is to inform you that I am appalled that the International UFO Congress has invited Jonathan Reed to speak at the 9th Congress to be held March 5th through March 11th at the River Palms Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. The following allegations from Mr. Reed during his December 9th interview have been investigated. Reed claims to have been admitted to graduate school at UCLA after spending only 2 years at San Diego State University, where he obtained a teaching education certificate for secondary education with a GPA of 3.0. UCLA has no record of a Jonathan Reed obtaining his PhD at that institution. UMI maintains hard copy and microfilm copy of all PhD dissertations and does not have Jonathan Reed's alleged UCLA dissertation on file. By the way, I went after both UFO Watchdog and this researcher Tim Haley, and checked with the schools and found the exact same information. That's a hallmark of a good researcher. Repeatable information. If they found that information, the accurate, true information, a good researcher should be able to go after them and find the same good, accurate, factual information. And in the case of his educational claims, we've got 3 separate people who investigated his claims and found them all to be false. Reed claims to have worked during the summer of 1979 with Dr. Frank Orsky at Johns Hopkins University. Dr. Frank Orsky did not arrive at Johns Hopkins until 1985. So here's the guy claiming that he worked with somebody 6 years before they worked there. Great. This is more amateur hours mistakes. Reed claimed to be a member of the National Psychological Association. There is no National Psychological Association. Reed claims to have worked at the Department of Psychology at the University of Washington. Upon checking the University of Washington Medical Center, the Department of Psychology and the Department of Psychiatry, it was confirmed that they have never had anyone named Jonathan Reed in those departments. Reed claims that a microbiologist by the name of Chacon has analyzed samples and recovered biological material from the alien Reed held in his freezer. Chacon claims to have received his master's degree in microbiology from the Catholic University of Puerto Rico. But the Catholic University of Puerto Rico does not offer master's degrees in microbiology. Additionally, there is no evidence to support the claims made by Jonathan Reed. Unless Mr. Reed can provide any reasonable corroborating evidence to support his biography and that of his colleague, Chacon, he should be removed from your program. I would think that a UFO Congress should hold high standards for their speakers and at a minimum require the speaker's biography to be validated before issuing an invitation to speak. Otherwise, your reputation will suffer and you do an injustice to the field of ufology, and you insult the other speakers who have worked so hard for their reputation. Yeah, so friends, what we have here is an overwhelming mountain of evidence that this guy is a fraudster, a hoaxer, and a liar. Also, remember, we talked about this UFO cover-up. The cover-up is not the government hiding the truth about UFOs. The cover-up is all these UFO profiteering hucksters hiding the lies. That's what Jimmy Church is doing. He's not bringing you the truth about UFOs. He's part of the real UFO cover-up, which is covering up that this guy is a complete and total fraud. Why would you tell people the truth about his education if you can make a few bucks letting him spin his yarns, right? And we've also got Donald Ware, who was once the Florida MUFON director, says Dr. Reed's book is documentation of an important event, calls UFO watchdog and other skeptics disinformation agents. Yeah. So there were people all along the way of this story that profited from it. Conference organizers, show hosts, and more. They all profited from it. So everybody since 1996 that has even entertained this stupid story has had to ignore overwhelming mountains of evidence that this guy is a fake and a fraud. But that's how this works. You just lie by omission. Just let the guy tell a story and forget to tell the audience that his education is fake, that the people he worked with is fake, that the doctor that he claims did the tissue sample analysis is fake, that he's using murdered sources that don't pan out to support his story. It is absolutely laughable that Jimmy Church is so desperate for views that this is the level of fakery, forgery, and ridiculous nonsense, 100% provably fake story that Jimmy is willing to let people push on his shit show. And there's a reason that his views are in the shitter. And pushing this level of garbage is not going to help him. It's not going to help him in the least. So, you know, I have such a mountain of evidence, and I could be here for another hour, but I think that we have sufficiently proved our point, right? And I don't want to waste another hour of anybody's time on this completely provably fake story and this completely provable fake doctor. Because this man essentially is a liar. And Jimmy Church is a liar for letting him lie on his show. Jimmy Church knows this evidence is out there. He didn't give it to his audience. Instead, he let a proven fake fraud sit there and spew absolute fake alien UFO disinformation, right? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that this is allowed to take place. Dr. Jonathan Reed is a liar. And we can prove that with facts and evidence. And those things matter. And the garbage UFO disinformation peddlers and hucksters will likely continue to push this story. Jimmy Church said he's doing a part 2. Jimmy Church, if you do a part 2 after people send you my video, and people send him my video when I do this, I know it. I know it for a fact. I had people close to him tell me he watches our shows when we cover him pushing fake stories, right? Maybe he's trying to figure out how to improve and not get caught selling these fake stories so much. And by the way, this is another circumstance where his other show with Christina Gomez has to absolutely keep her mouth shut about this fake fraud, 100% provably fake story that her co-host is pushing over on his show. And, you know, it's so unfortunate that this man has put this young girl into a position where she has to lie by omission. She has to keep her mouth shut about this shit, or she's going to lose all the benefits of her relationship with Jimmy Church. She can't be honest with her audience either. So not only is Dr. Jonathan Reed lying, but Jimmy Church is lying by omission, pushing this fake story. And then he's pulling some young girl who, by the way, I hear has a learning disability. That's great, Jimmy Church. Are you taking advantage of a girl with a learning disability to be a second echo chamber or to help you stay relevant with young people? And if so, that's despicable. Is that what that young girl, this is what you're teaching that young girl, that this is how you be successful? You just keep your mouth shut about a mountain of overwhelming evidence that a story is fake so that you can make a couple of bucks selling this bullshit? Jimmy Church is dragging other people into this fake story, and he's planning on doing part 2 on this completely, totally, provably fake story from a fake doctor using another fake doctor and more fake sources and more anonymous sources and film he couldn't have used at the time he claimed to take the photographs and this hokey ass alien artifact where he's claiming that he's teleporting in and out of live television shows. It is laughable, friends. And now Jimmy Church is involved, and he's got to keep pushing this garbage for a part 2. But not only that, he's involved his other show with Christina Gomez, and now Christina Gomez has to sit there like a dummy and not bring up the fact that her co-host has just been caught pushing this level of fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery. Now he's involved her. She can't say anything about this. She's got to keep her mouth shut about all this to keep her radio show and all those subscribers that she's sucking off of Jimmy Church. She takes all the benefit of Jimmy Church, but she doesn't have to comment on all the dirty dealings, slimeball shit that he does. And I think that's not fair. If she's going to be able to get all these subscribers from a guy doing all this stuff, then people have the right to know he's doing that. And she should grow a conscience and speak out and say, I don't agree with what he's doing over on his show. Now, are we going to hear her do that? No, because that would be the right thing to do, telling people the truth. And you're going to screw up your deal with Jimmy Church if you grow a conscience and do the right thing and stop lying by omission to your audience about what garbage peddling your co-host is up to. So back, my friends, we're going to go back to for a synopsis. I call this the lie counter, right? You're going to lose track. Once you start counting up the lies that we can prove that this fake doctor has been caught up in, it becomes very clear that this is a 100% provably fake story, and that anybody pushing this story or platforming this clown is a huckster and is bad for the community and is helping spread fake information and is helping make this thing the subject of mockery. This is the stuff that people talk about. Oh, that alien stuff, it's so fake. Well, the stuff on Jimmy Church's show is so fake, right? And this is all a distraction. This is all a psyop, in my opinion, because why can somebody get away with what can only be considered consumer fraud to some people? Jimmy Church is going to sit there and let this guy tell you that this story is true. Does he not have any responsibility to vet this man's claims and say, well, he did say that, he's got a PhD, but it turns out 3 separate researchers checked in with the schools and all of them found out there's no degrees there. There's no PhD thesis there. So his educational claims are. Does Jimmy Church have any responsibility while this guy's claiming he's a doctor to say, excuse me, I know of researchers have checked and no, you're not a doctor? No, he called him doctor through the entire interview. Great. So, well, one thing is clear to me, that this stupid story is going to continue to, I guess, inspire debate for the near future, because some true believers are still going to believe this level of garbage. And if you really want to get sad about how stupid some people are and gullible and how their believing brain is switched on and stuck and they are willing to believe anything as long as it fits their preconceived narrative that they already believe, go over to Jimmy Church's show and just look at the comments on this video. Oh, such an amazing story. Oh, thank you so much for bringing us the truth, Jimmy Church. Yeah, he's bringing you the truth. Bullshit. Bull. So we're going to go back. We're going to wrap things up about this complete and total liar, Jonathan Reed. But we are going to give you a synopsis here of all the lies. So the man known as Dr. Jonathan Reed, also known, as Jonathan Rudder. But by the way, I lost the place of it. There is a page on UFO Watchdog which highlights all of his many fake aliases. He's got so many fake aliases. I don't know why somebody needs 10 different fake names and identities unless they're some kind of a con man, right? Or criminal. Who else needs that kind of stuff? Great. And there is a bunch of eyewitness testimony from people close to Dr. Reed also on UFO Watchdog's website. We'll provide the links. And there are other stories that prove this is completely and totally fake. The Fact or Fiction, the television show, recreated all of this stuff. Many researchers have been over this man claims, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. So this man is fake and he's a liar. And shame on anybody that just platforms him and lets him tell his fake alien stories. Everybody's got Google. There's no excuse for this. It's got to be intentional. Nobody is that negligent. Nobody is that lazy that they can't Google something or make 2 phone calls to start figuring out that this guy is a liar. So, but we'll go over all his lies. I call this the litany of Dr. Reed's lies, friends. And by the way, Jimmy Church, I challenge you to a debate. Have me on your show. You can come here and we'll debate why you don't platform fake doctor clowns like this guy. Why you do not ever intentionally shovel absolutely fake information into the UFO community. This guy was done. His hoax was busted years ago. And now you're helping him get back on that hoax horse and ride that hoax horse into what? More money? Ill-gotten gains? So this is Dr. Jonathan Reed's, the fake doctor's litany of lies, friends. We'll summarize for Jimmy Church and other intellectual weaklings who can't, use Google or make 2 phone calls to find out that this guy lies about everything. So let's begin in Dr. Jonathan Reed's litany of lies, friends. He lied about his education. 100% of all of his educational claims are total fabrications. He lied. At least 3 researchers have all talked to those schools, all confirming the same thing. He never went to those schools. He never has a master's degree. He never produced a PhD thesis. He has no doctorate, nothing. And by the way, he lied about his work history because multiple researchers checked in with those prestigious places that this man claimed that he worked. He lied about his work history, 100% provably he lied. He lied about owning the Jeep that he said he escaped those evil men in black government types in. Real research, dogged research that I have to like, admire, and respect from UFO Watchdog. He found a bill of sale of that Jeep from the guy that he purchased it from, and shows he purchased that Jeep more than a year after he claimed he already owned it. So he lied about escaping the men in black in a Jeep he didn't even own at the time. Again, he lied. He lied about the pictures he took and when, because careful analysis of the negatives, friends, provided by him prove 100% that he could not have taken the pictures on that film at the time he claimed. Those negatives checks by experts at Kodak proved the film would not be available in 1996 when he claimed he took the pictures, but rather 1997. Little things like this matter. He lied about when the pictures were taken. He lied again, friends. He lied about the death of his dog, because if you were to take the time to talk to his neighbors and family members that knew him during that time frame, you would hear from them that his beloved dog that he claimed that evil alien murdered in 1996 was alive and well and still living with Jonathan at his parents' house in the year 2000. Why would he lie about his dog dying? And worse yet, why would he lie about his dog being killed by an evil alien? Friends, facts mattered. He lied about his dog dying or when his dog died or being murdered in 1996. He lied again. He lied about the fake doctor he claims analyzed tissue samples and blood samples on the alleged alien. That man was not a real doctor, but rather that man was a close friend of Jonathan's with no education at all past high school that worked in a convenience store local to Jonathan. And another friend of his also worked there. He lied about another doctor at the University of Washington analyzing the tissue samples and being amazed and then murdered a short time later by the mysterious men in black trying to cover up the truth about his alien encounter. But the truth is that doctor was murdered a short time later, but not by the men in black or some unknown assailant, as Jonathan claimed. Last night on Jimmy Church's show, Jonathan claimed that doctor was killed by an unknown assailant. No, the case is closed. The murder solved. It wasn't the men in black that killed that man, but rather a disgruntled employee of that man who was fired. It was a well-known murder-suicide case near where Jonathan lived. And if you check in with the school, no documents or records were confiscated by anyone in the government or any mysterious men in black. Only his personal effects were removed from his offices and given to his family. All that doctor's other records remain. And wouldn't you know, no records of alien tissue samples or any meetings, conversations, phone calls, or project with the fake Dr. Reed claiming he had alien samples. So again, friends, he lied. He lied about being a doctor. He lied about working with special needs children. And after all, who lies about working with children with disabilities? Why would you even lie about something like that if it's not relevant to the story? But again, friends, he lied. He lied about this stupid Link magical alien armband that lets him teleport or disappear and reappear. It can be proven that those are editing, that in that video, it can be proven that he edited in sound effects stolen from a Hollywood movie and bad early video special effects. So again, he lied. He claimed that teleportation aired on national live television. No, it didn't. He lied again, friends. The host of that show he was actually on asked him to use that device on live television. And at the time, he made up a bunch of excuses for why the alien artifact couldn't be turned on or used. And you can watch that. You can get that. Let's go on, friends, with the litany of lies. He also lied about giving a talk to some 700 members of Congress. And I can tell you that he lied about that because, folks, there is only 535 members of Congress, not 700. Are we really expected to believe that some fake doctor gave a talk to every single sitting senator and congressman? Plus, hey, 165 retired ones, I guess. They all sat there and listened to this fake doctor, this clown, tell his fake alien stories and and show everybody his fake as shit videos and pictures? Sure. No, friends, it's clear that on that claim, he lied. because you will not find a single senator that's ever heard of this man or attended a talk by him. And I challenge Jimmy Church or Jonathan Reed or anybody else to find me a congressman or a senator that will verify this fake claim. No, friends, he lied again. He lied about meeting and discussing his incredible experiences with the Pope. That's right. He lied about meeting the Pope. But it's easy to show that he photoshopped those images. And of course, the papal records show no meeting with this fake doctor. And by the way, every minute of the Pope's day, kind of like the United States president, is logged and kept records of. There's no meeting with this man. He never met the Pope. And he was bold enough to actually Photoshop himself meeting the Pope. That, my friends, is a really bad liar. If you're willing to Photoshop you meeting the Pope and then tell people you met the Pope and told them about your alien stories, that's some bad pathological lying, if you ask me, friends. And it's easily provable that those photos were Photoshopped. He took a stock image of the Pope meeting somebody else and he cut himself in there. It is laughable, absolutely laughable. He lied about visiting mysterious places like the pyramids or the ancient ruins, when it can be easily proven that he just Photoshopped himself in front of those places using images anyone can find with a simple Google image search. So again, friends, he lied. He lied to his wife about having a job even leaving the house every day to go to so-called, quote, work, unquote. She found out later that he was not a doctor, and indeed, he didn't even have a job, even though he went someplace for hours a day and returned later in the day. She confronted him, knowing that his education was fake, that he wasn't a doctor. He lied about working on local missing person cases to his wife, claiming that he worked on missing persons and really important murders as a consulting psychologist. But again, it turns out that his wife found out that those are just more of his fantastical stories and pathological lies. Again, friends, he lied. So with this litany of lies being on full display, who would believe this man about his fantastical alien claims? The truth is, no one would believe it if they were given this information. But the fake fraud, UFO story time, disinformation peddlers, garbage peddlers like Jimmy Church, they're not going to give you this. They're not going to tell you how many times it can be easily proven that this man has lied, because that's not good for selling this story. So this is where we're at, friends, and this is where we find ourselves. Jimmy Church is a garbage peddler. He sells garbage like Corey Good garbage or David Wilcock garbage or Sarah R. Adams garbage or Jonathan Reed garbage. And you know, I don't want to hear anybody, anybody dare message me some defense of Jimmy Church. Like, well, maybe he didn't know. It's his job to know. Is he just negligent? Is he stupid? Is he so dumb that he believes this guy with this level of easily proven fakery, fraudery, forgery, and bullshittery? I mean, doesn't he have some responsibility to apologize to his audience now? Is he going to apologize to his audience now? Or is he going to sweep this under the rug just like he sweeps all the stories that fall apart under the rug? Let's see, he swept David Wilcock literally promoting GoFundMe and PayPal scams on his show. He swept that under the rug, and gee, sorry if you got scammed by my guest, but you know, and let's see, he sweeps under the rug some of his advertisers' criminal pasts and arrests for things like fraud. He sweeps that under the rug. Let's see, what else does he sweep under the rug? Falsely copyright claiming, people revealing that the people that he platforms, promotes, and works with are lying to you, like me. He swept that under the rug. He doesn't want to talk about how he falsely copyright claimed us. And why did he do that? Because we were revealing exactly the kind of things that we're revealing tonight. This UFO huckster doesn't want you to listen to me. He wants you to just take the fake bullshit story that he's jamming down your throat and swallow it, loser. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks you're a loser and would never figure out how can he actually believe that nobody's going to figure out that he's peddling this garbage. What else does he sweep under the rug? Oh, that whole Corey Good fiasco, where he platformed and promoted and profited with and from Corey Good's garbage stories for years, worked all those conferences with him, promoted him, helped him sell his fake garbage stories. And then Corey Good apparently had enough of Jimmy Church, decided to stab Jimmy Church in the back. And it's documented that took place. What does Jimmy Church do? Sweep that all under the rug. Don't look under the rug. Don't look under the rug where all my fake stories go after I'm done making the money from the fake story. I just sweep it under the rug. And what else does he sweep it under the rug? Oh, how many times has he platformed Emory Smith, the fake alien autopsy? Oh, 3,000 autopsies of aliens. Oh, no, later it was just tissue samples. Turns out that guy is something of a bullshitter, right? Yeah, and it can be substantially proven. Got to sweep that under the rug. What about Sarah R. Adams? While he platformed Sarah R. Adams, she was actively trying to sell medbed sessions in a fake medbed that was actually a tanning booth that you lay in with magnets glued in it and organite and a bunch of new age shit symbols put all over it. Does he have any responsibility to the victims of the people that he's platforming who are paying hard-earned money for stories that they believe to be true? Does he have any responsibility to talk about look? And I get it. People make mistakes, I'm sure. We've had some guests here that were pretty wacky, but we did it the right way, and we acknowledged that it might be horseshit. It might be bull. He doesn't acknowledge anything. He just lets these people sell this garbage. So we will take some time now for the live chat. I apologize for the length of tonight's presentation, but I thought it important that if Jimmy Church is going to platform this garbage peddler, I'm going to give people the other side of the coin. Now, the problem is that the guy with the larger bullhorn wins. And unfortunately, really unfortunately, Jimmy Church has a larger bullhorn than me currently, but not by much. So one of the ways that you can all help combat this disinformation, misinformation, and garbage peddling by less than scrupulous people trying to deceive people is to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. Most importantly is to share this video on your social media. This is my call to action. Let's band together and tell Jimmy Church it's not okay to platform this level of garbage. It's not okay to lie to your audience by omission and not give them all of the important facts and information that we have freely given you here tonight. This is my call to action. Take this video link, copy it to your Facebook, copy it to your Twitter. Use the hashtag #FTB, fade to black. By the way, someone commented that I always use that hashtag. And we have made it our policy to use that hashtag anytime I tweet a show, because once Jimmy Church got all upset and he was nasty to people who were using that hashtag to share an interview of somebody that I did shortly after he did. That was vastly different. He didn't like people hearing. He didn't like his listeners hearing that he platformed garbage peddlers and didn't do any investigation or push back. So he complained about our people retweeting that hashtag. So we're going to use it every time now. Can't own a hashtag. And there's a lot of other things that I could say, but I think that we've said enough. We've done our due diligence. The best thing that you could do to help us is to tweet out this video. Let's combat these garbage peddlers. Let's do something about it instead of letting them profit from this level of absolute garbage. And I just want to mention to you that there are a few ways that you could support us. And the biggest way is that you can like, comment, subscribe, and especially share this video. It really does help to get the story out there. Unfortunately, many people don't have the time, energy, or dedication to go digging for all this evidence. And people like Jimmy Church are counting on you being too busy to see if this story is true. So all he's got to do is lie by omission and leave out all of the important facts and information we have shared with you tonight. And he wins because he's got a bigger bullhorn. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way the world works. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And I don't know what else to say here, but I will say this. And 1 second, I'm just doing a little bit of math here because I want to share with you another sad truth. No, that can't be right. Yeah, I think it is. So by my estimation, with the monetized video that Jimmy Church created with this garbage peddler, the fake Dr. Jonathan Reed, he got so far almost 9,000 views, which means that Jimmy Church, in ad revenue for platforming this fraud and pushing this level of fake disinformation into the community, has made at least $850 in YouTube ad revenue. And I would suggest to Jimmy Church and others within the sound of my voice that run shows that YouTube does have a deceptive practices policy. And I believe a good argument can be made that Jimmy Church platforming this guy and who's claiming that all the things he's saying are true and that he's a real doctor and he's got a doctorate and he's got a PhD and Jimmy Church doing this could be considered against YouTube's policy concerning deceptive practices and YouTube ad revenue. But, I don't really know. I'm not an expert on the YouTube terms of service, but I do know that it's extremely problematic for Jimmy Church to sit there, not bring up any of the important information that we brought up tonight, and keep that $850 in YouTube ad revenue as his guest. And he, by extension, I suppose, are implying that this is a true story. It's not a true story. And you would have to employ deception in order to make a video that is pro Dr. Jonathan Reed, which is exactly what he did. He made a very pro Jonathan Reed, this guy's telling the truth sort of a video. It's deceptive. At very best, it is deceptive. And, that may be something that he or other show hosts may want to think about going forward. I don't think that people should be able to make $850 in YouTube ad revenue when the story that they're pushing, and by the way, my math could be off. This is an estimate. I'm no expert. But I don't think people should be able to make any money in YouTube ad revenue when they are purposefully using deception in order to do that and create that money for themselves. I got a problem with that. So we'll take comments and questions from the audience. The Sixth Sense is here, reminding us that spam, deceptive practices, and scams policies could be a real problem. It could be a real problem. Now, I, of course, cannot recommend that anybody do anything in regard to his video. That would be problematic for me. So I'm not going to suggest any actions that somebody should take regarding his video. It's enough for us to say that this is a real problem. And this is not just a problem with Jimmy Church, though he's one of the kings of this slime ball way of producing a lot of money for yourself through deceptive practices. That's my opinion, that he creates a lot of money for himself through deceptive practices. I'm entitled to my opinion. And the Sixth Sense reminding everybody, please use caps for comments and questions that you want to see. Big Fat, I want to see the pictures of him with Pope. Big fat creep. Yeah, of course. Frauds of a feather hang out together. Jimmy Church hangs out with Nick Pope. Jimmy Church hangs out with, frauds like David Wilcock and Corey Good and Emery Smith and Jonathan Reed. Frauds of a feather hang out together. They grift together too. Everybody ever noticed this? But they all reinforce each other. So you tell everybody my fake story is true, and I'll tell everybody that your fake story is true. Then we've each got a corroborating researcher or witness saying the story's true. Awfully convenient. Awfully convenient. Do you think YouTube should demonetize all conspiracy theory videos? Obviously I cover these things, so no. But when it can be shown that somebody displays Such an incredible level of either ignorance, stupidity, or intentional deception in order to generate ad revenue with a 100% provably fake story, I believe that they shouldn't be able to make money from that. But that's my opinion. It can be proven it's a lie. It basically violates the terms of service, Von Zine. Some of it is kind of a gray area, but ultimately YouTube decides. Yeah. And so if you have comments or questions for me, please put them in all capital letters. I will take your comments and questions for a little bit of time here, and then we're going to bounce on out of here. These kind of things are kind of exhausting for me. Like, it's exhausting to remind people that that story was fake in 1996. And by the way, Jimmy Church, you lazy slob, it's still fake in 2022. All right. But Steve, if he doesn't promote all those scammers, no clicks, no views, no Rivermune coffee sales. The truth, it's about UFO money. I agree with you, UFO Capsta, and that's unfortunate. I'm very fortunate in that I don't need to lie to people to make a living, right? What must it be like for Jimmy Church? I hope he watches this whole thing, this whole litany of lies that we have caught his guest in. And I want everybody to ask him, why did you not ask any questions about all this? You think it's just perfectly acceptable to let him sit there and lie to you like that? And by the way, there are three possibilities going forward for Jimmy Church with this. Well, really four. Either he's going to do the real moral and ethical right thing to do and apologize to everybody for, maybe he had a busy week and he didn't have time to do a 2-minute Google search to find out that his guest was a liar and a fake doctor and a fraud, right? That's one possibility. He could do the right thing. Do I think he's going to do that? Hell no, he's going to double down on the bullshit. The second possibility is that he's going to get wind of this. If our broadcast reaches enough people, he's going to get wind of it. And he and Reed, in my opinion, will conspire together so that Reed can still come out looking okay, but Jimmy can push back on some of this stuff, and Reed can offer his Men in Black bullshit explanations for all the lies he's told over the years, right? That's a possibility. And the other possibility is that Jimmy Church is going to catch wind of this, and he's simply not going to do the part 2, knowing how foolish, childish, and stupid he looks for doing the part 1 to begin with. So that's where we're at, friends, and that's where we find ourselves. Patty says, who is the worst in your opinion? Well, I think the worst garbage peddler of disinformation in the UFO community is certainly Jimmy Church. But Jimmy Church is somewhat unique in that Jimmy Church is such an uncreative person that he's not good enough to be a UFO grifter on his own. So what he does is he just helps all the UFO grifters sell their garbage, fake disinformation stories, which is maybe worse because he reaches an awful lot more people and he pushes out an awful lot more disinformation than any single individual character who's pushing fake stories does. He is the facilitator. The Lord of UFO lies is Jimmy Church. All right. And I want to remind everybody, if you're listening in audio podcast land, now would be a good time to remind you that you're missing half the fun. Please do go on over to YouTube. Click that search bar, that little magnifying glass. Put Truth Seekers, one word, in the search bar. You'll see me, the strange guy with sunglasses. Click on that channel. That would be our Truth Seekers channel here. It's Truth Seekers Show, one word, on YouTube. Or Truth Seekers, one word, on YouTube. You should find us. Click on our channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you too will know when we're doing a live taping. We have this interactive live chat that's great. You can ask me questions. We can interact back and forth. Your comments are well appreciated. We want you to come over here. We appreciate you in audio podcast land and honor you being there and listening, but we would much prefer if you came on over to YouTube. Find us on YouTube. It's Truth Seekers. Smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and come over here when we're doing our live tapings, which are usually 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometime between Monday and Friday. And be a part. Don't just listen to the show, though we appreciate if you do. Don't just watch the show, though we love and appreciate if you do. Come and be a part of the show. You are most welcome. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, anything, we're all here. looking for the truth, and you are most welcome to look for it with us. Please do come on by. Okay, we'll take some more comments and questions. 1 second. What about conspiracy theorists on YouTube? I think some of them push dangerous things. After all, Von Zine, some people have literally been driven to kill by becoming obsessed with conspiracy theories online. So it can get very, very dangerous. I don't know what the answer is. It's a complicated issue. Do I believe in censorship? No. But if it's censorship of a medical, absolute 100% medical disinformation, that's a problem for me. If it's dangerous conspiracies that will incite violence in people, yeah, I have a problem with that. But I don't know what all the answers are. I don't know what the solution is. Stamping down on free speech is also extremely problematic for me. So it's a complicated issue. Yes, if he doesn't promote all those scammers, no clicks, no views, no River Moon sales. Yeah. Carolyn, sweet Caroline is here. And every time I see you, Sweet Caroline, I think of that song, right? Is that like, whose song is that? Sweet Caroline. That's like an old crooner guy, right? I have to look that up. But I think of the song and the melody pops in my head every time I see you. She says, and thank you for being a member. By the way, if you want to support our show, there's another way to help us. You can become a Patreon supporter and get some extra goodies every month. Or you can become a channel member. Click the join button. For the Patreon is $1 a month, and the channel member is $5. You get, for being a channel member, you get all the Patreon benefits plus some YouTube benefits. Like Caroline has a member badge there, identifying her as a big supporter of the show. We love and appreciate all of you kind and generous people becoming members or Patreon supporters. Sweet Caroline says, great show tonight, Stephen. It was absolutely bad. That it was too good. You had us all in tears. Also, check your PayPal later. No, I will check it right now. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot, Caroline. Just so everybody knows, there's a few ways to support us. You could throw money, throw a couple of bucks in our hat. It is an excellent way to support us, and there's a few ways to do that. You can click that money button down there in the live chat, or look in the about section of this video. There is instructions on how to send us a couple of bucks and throw some money in our hat on either Cash App or PayPal. We read every single pledger's message. So if you send me a message on PayPal or a super chat, write out a message. We read every single one. So we've got a message from Sweet Caroline, who says, from your favorite member, Sweet Caroline, great show tonight. We need more Kari too. You both were a great duo tonight. Last night. Yes. Well, thank you very much for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated. Thank you, Sweet Caroline, kind and generous channel member and pledger who is helping us tremendously by helping us to praise the cash, friends. Oh, 1 second. I got to find the right one. Yes. Thank you, Sweet Caroline. Much appreciated.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
And I just want to mention that I decided if all of these guys can lie to people for and praise the cash so much, that I could give people the truth and actual facts and actual evidence. And if they're allowed to praise the cash for lying to you, then I should be allowed to praise the cash for giving you the truth. Now, it should be noted that this is not my full-time job. We use the funds to help with the show, to purchase equipment, backdrops, lighting, whatever the show needs is taken care of by our kind and generous supporters. And this enables me to continue in this journey and to take you all with me. And we appreciate each and every one of you. So let's check in with the super chats. I apologize. We had a long presentation, but we always read every single super chat, every PayPal or Cash App pledge. If you send us a message, we read it live on air. We love and appreciate all you kind and generous supporters. So let me get over to our super chats. See if I didn't. Yeah, we've got a bunch. Well, we've got a few of them, so we're going to recognize those people. I will share my screen here and recognize those kind and generous people who sent super chat pledges. Anthony Peterson with a kind and generous $2 super chat says, you should test River Moon Coffee's genuineness. I don't know that he's selling fake coffee, though. Actually, I know a couple of people who told me they really like that coffee. But, yeah. I suppose it's real coffee then if people like it. And good for him for selling something. But selling something while you're letting people lie to your audience is a problem for me. Like me, I would kind of have a problem with people just lying straight through their teeth to my audience and me just sitting there like a dummy and not pushing back. Space Exposure with kind of generous $3 super chat says, for the LOLs, good show. Thank you for your kind and generous super chat pledge. We appreciate it. Joe K with a kind and generous Canadian $2.79 and says, sweet baby Jesus, what a freak. Well, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is much, much appreciated, and we appreciate all you kind and generous people for helping us to praise the cash, friends.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
I believe that you will agree with me when I say that in the last few months, and especially the last few weeks, that the anointing of the Holy Spirit on the telecast has been exceptional. The letters that we are receiving, the comments that you are giving us, but above all, it's just there. And we thank the Lord so much for it because it is the anointing that breaks the yoke. It breaks that yoke asunder, whatever the yoke may be. I want to thank you also for the help that you gave us last week concerning the appeals that we made, how we are rejoicing. I wish I could give you a total now. I can't. I just can't. I don't have it yet. But I'm asking you, please. God spoke with a lot of you that did not respond. And we love you and we thank you, but when God speaks to you, I know he'll bless you if you will respond. And if you could send a gift of $50.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
I just reason that televangelists know how to beg for money much better than me. So we try to use some old clips of those guys. It's pretty funny. Now we've gotten through, I have to make a decision here. We've gotten through an entire broadcast without using one of Jimmy Church's clips. And with full disclosure, he once copyright claimed us a false copyright strike for using a very short clip. We are up to 2 hours and 16 minutes into the broadcast. This is a transformative work that is educational in nature. We are educating the public about how Jimmy Church platforms completely and totally fake people telling completely and totally fake stories. And as such, our use of any clips from his show is covered under fair use. And educational use tips the balance in favor of fair use and would negate any false copyright claims. We also have fair use lawyer defense letters standing by for anybody that would try to falsely copyright claim our channel for using a clip under the legal fair use doctrine. I will put up our fair use banner as well. So I have verbally cited fair use. I have explained why it is fair use if we use a clip from Jimmy Church's show. We have a fair use banner that will be playing while we play the very, very short clip. And this is just to illustrate a point. And that is that Jimmy Church claims that he vets everything on his show 3 times. Tonight, we have shown you a literal mountain of evidence that proves that his recent guest is a complete and total fake doctor, fraud, and liar, a hoaxer. We have proved that with facts and evidence. Yet Jimmy Church still wants his listeners to believe that he vets everything on his show 3 times. And we have evidence or proof that he claims that. And it can be substantially proven with tonight's broadcast that he doesn't vet anything, but I want you people to hear what he says about vetting guests and information that he presents on his show. This is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public and critiquing the video that we are sharing, and we'll have some discussion on that. This is covered under fair use and is certainly allowable by law. Fair use.
I vet everything 3 times before I mention it on the air. If I can't vet something 3 times from a credible published source, I don't speak about it. And that's journalism 101. That's what they teach you in school when you're first starting out. You don't go with one vetted source.
Yeah, and you know, it's really a tragedy if Jimmy Church did have a college education, that he would think that it's somehow acceptable to not vet things 3 times. He's going to claim that he's a journalist in that clip, and that he vets everything 3 times. We can easily prove, friends, that he continually platforms these hucksters selling this garbage, peddling garbage, disinformation, and fake information. And the fact that it's so easy to prove that these people are lying and that he doesn't take the time to do it is really an indication to me that this is intentional. That's my opinion. My opinion is that he intentionally does not vet anybody. He intentionally does zero research. He intentionally does not Google anyone. This gives him an excuse for why he allows people to sit there and literally lie through their teeth on his so-called show. And meanwhile, he has made at least $850 from part 1 of this fake story. He's claiming he's going to do part 2. Is the vetting coming up in part 2? Are you going to present all of the overwhelming and substantial evidence that we have presented here tonight, proving that this man is a fake doctor with a fake education, with fake doctor friends that work at convenience stores near him that helped him peddle this fake garbage? And Jaime Maussan, the king of fake alien stories, including, let's see, the alien Nazca mummies hoax was peddled by Jaime Maussan. The fake fairies hoax was peddled by Jaime Maussan. The marmoset monkey that was mummified that somebody claimed was an alien was peddled by Jaime Maussan. We have the Roswell slides hoax, where Jaime Maussan made, by some accounts, tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars selling that hoax. Jaime Maussan is also deeply involved in selling this fake story. That may be some indication that this story is indeed fake. So any more comments or questions here, leave them for me. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping things up here. I remember that. Stupid, good, and Willie. Yeah. Kepsa says 3 times he has probably visited the church. Yeah, I don't think he's been in church 3 times. Jimmy needs church. Yeah, look, he wins awards. Yeah. Sweet Caroline says, what a big fat liar. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. The Sixth Sense says the absolute mountain of evidence of Jonathan Reed's claims are totally fake is too massive to possibly cover it all. Yeah, we could do a part 2 on more of his fake claims. By the way, I will post on my Twitter later today. I did have copies of the pictures where he claimed he met Pope Francis that were obviously photoshopped. I will post them on my Twitter later. I forgot to share them in order to share them. They're in my office on the PC there. We will share those later tonight. We will also provide links to some of the evidence that we have shared here tonight. Vonzine, you should try to have him on like you had Anjali on. Well, here's what I will do. I just sent him a friend request, and I'm going to share my screen so that people can see that I'm actually doing this. That I have actually sent Jonathan Reed is the fact that I have 15 mutual friends with him. That's pretty funny. And you can see here, this is the friend request button. So I have sent Jonathan Reed a friend request, and if he's courageous enough to come on my show and answer some questions, I promise I will be respectful. I won't, disrespect him, but I have lots of questions. You can see this man is so proud of the fact that he was on Art Bell. And I suppose I would be too. I was a big fan of Art Bell. He's always posting his heyday. Look, here's some more of the pictures. He's always posting his, time of being UFO famous and being on the Art Bell show back in 1996. Guy's still living in the 90s. Here's more of his so-called evidence. Authenticated, documented photographic evidence. First of all, it's not been authenticated and documented. Documented by who? Certified by Congressional Review in Washington, D.C. Who certified this by Congressional Review? That is another thing he is lying about. Come on, friends. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. This guy's posting that the Congress agrees that his UFO photographs are real, right? I don't think so, Jonathan Reed. This is garbage level so-called evidence. Oh. Here's him claiming the negatives are real. Well, the negatives are real negatives, but you lied about when you took the photographs with that film stock, But anyway, here's his Facebook. He's still very active on Facebook, claiming that this is a true story. By the way, here's a picture of the alien obelisk, which I can guarantee you was a magic trick optical illusion called a Super X levitation. And again, I don't want to get beat up by a bunch of magicians for revealing how that works, but you're free to look it up. And look at this. There's his dog. There's the alien. Oh, geez. Wow. And here's him with Art Bell, but he photoshopped this. He was never in the same room with Art Bell. He called into the show. So he photoshopped himself. He photoshops himself a lot, like with the Pope in front of the pyramids or, ancient ruins. He photoshops himself. Here he is photoshopping himself with Art Bell, which he's never been in the same room with Art Bell. There's the picture of the freezer he put the alien in. There's the dog that he claimed died, but years later we would find out that the dog was still alive. And was it 2000 or 2001, right? Oh, and he's a Trumper too on top of it. Look at this. Oh, this is great. Extra dimensional, extraordinary alien life. And he posts a bunch of fake alien pictures along with his fake alien pictures. And look at the stupid people. Why can they not look more beautiful? That's so weird. Aliens are always perceived in that shape. They are so beautiful. Aliens exist in weird universe. Yeah. And of course, here, he can't wait to tell everybody about it. He's going to be on Fade to Black with his fake alien story and his fake alien artifact, a link. Oh, the most extraordinary documented evidence ever presented of a close encounter in history. Now, friends, we've seen that evidence earlier in the broadcast. Did you find that evidence to be extraordinary? Oh, it's extraordinary. All right. Extraordinary bull. That's what it is, friends. It's extraordinary bull. So he's very prolific in his posts, still claiming that he, interacted with these aliens in 1996. So just to be clear, so that everybody understands what we're doing here, we've had a request from the Peanut Gallery. I heard, who was it? Oh, Dark Journalist calls his chat room the Ideas Room, and all I've ever come up with to call our chat room is the Peanut Gallery. We got to come up with a better name, but we've had a request from our audience, and by the way, we aim to please here. If you guys want to see me do something, we at least attempt. So people want to see if this guy will submit to an interview with me. I have sent him a friend request on Facebook. Some people know if I send him a message, it'll go in his message requests, and he likely will not see it. But if he accepts my friend request, he will see a message that I sent him. Otherwise, I'm going to try to find an email for him or other people that are friends with him and send him. We're going to send him an interview request, and we'll see what happens. That's all we can do is try, friends. Sweet Caroline says, Jesus, he literally lied about everything. Nothing is off the table. Holy sheesh. Yeah. Bigfoot Creep says, damn, he looks the same. Or he's using, yeah, he does kind of. He must have aged well. I think he's in his 70s now and still grifting. Jonathan Reed here gets to be on Jimmy Church. Hey, dog, guess what we get to eat next week? Yeah. Sweet Caroline says, this dude is crazy. and that it would be comedy gold if you could get him to do an interview. I'm doing it. We're doing it. You know what? I have the perfect meme for this situation, and I believe that oh, why did that come up? All right, 1 second. I've got to go to my Twitter here and pull this out. 1 second. I have the perfect meme for this situation. So what's happening, friends, is that we have covered a mountain of evidence that so-called Dr. Jonathan Reed, is a fraud and a fake and a garbage peddler. But people here want me to still interview him, so we're going to try to do that. And here's my attitude about that. F it, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's interview this guy. Or at least I'll send him an interview request. Now, do I think that he's going to have the balls to actually come here and answer any questions? Of course not. Of course. Well, I'm going to ask. All I can do is ask, friends, because I'm in. I'm all chips in on this one. Let's do it, friends. That would be comedy gold if he actually agreed to it, right? What? Yeah. Please email me later. Appreciate it, friend. Yeah, I will definitely message me on Twitter. DM me right now, Mothership. What is your Twitter handle again? It's I'm going to forget it. Patty says, please get this guy. Yeah, everybody wants to see me interview him. I'll ask. That's all I can do, friends, is ask. But you know that a lot of these guys know better, right? You guys know they know better. They're going to check out the channel and see that we just ripped him to shreds. I don't think that he is going to want to actually come here and do a real interview. He only wants to do the softball circle jerk interviews with people like Jimmy Church that aren't going to question his ridiculous fake made up work history or his ridiculous fake made up education, etc. Right? That's what happens here. So here's what we're going to do, friends. We're going to take a short break, and then I'm going to return, and we're going to have a discussion here about disinformation in the UFO community. So get your comments or questions ready for me. I would appreciate that. You lost your glasses. Well, I'll try to message. Did you email me before at truthseekershow@gmail.com? And is it under the Mothership? I'll find your email. I'll figure it out. I will definitely email you. Right? They do, but you've had some others do interviews and had hilarious results. Yeah, who was that one girl that forgot who? She didn't even know what my name was. I interviewed one conspiracy land nutter that was claiming that some beer company were satanic pedophiles because she saw a diaper outside, and she didn't know what my name was. While I was interviewing her, she asked out loud, like, somebody mentioned Steve Cambion in the live chat, and she's like, who's Steve Cambion? I don't know who that is. While she was sitting in, virtually sitting next to me, being interviewed. She didn't know who I was. Yeah, write me a note to truthseekershow@gmail.com, Mothership Podcast, and I will certainly get back. Big Fat Creep says, Steve, who be that? Yeah. Oh, it was Lauren Pritchard. Yes, you are right. Bigger nutter in conspiracy land you've never met. And it was surprising to me that she had absolutely no care. I talked to the family of that beer company. It was a small microbrew run by a family business, and they were devastated by her unproven, untrue, completely without evidence accusations that the company was somehow run by satanic pedophiles. She was glad. She was glad that they were in distress about that, or that they had to hire, public relations and people to handle that situation while she was going on the local news, just telling people, making these absolutely slanderous accusations about this poor beer company. All they're trying to do is make a living making beer. Suddenly she pulls them into her conspiracy driven life. Yeah. Joe K says, Reed reminds me of Stan Romanek. Yeah, he is somewhat similar to Stan Romanek in many respects. Stan Romanek, some may recall, was the fraud. Oh, by the way, Jimmy Church worked for the same company that put out the Stan Romanek story, and we would find out shortly after the Stan Romanek documentary came out that Stan Romanek was a huge fan of kiddie porn, and he got arrested. And Stan Romanek even tried to throw his own son under the bus at one time in court, claiming that the child pornography that the government caught him in possession of actually belonged to his son, and his son put it on his computers. Later, he would claim that the Men in Black, in a vast government cover-up and conspiracy, put that kiddie porn on his computer to shut him up because he was telling everybody the truth about those aliens. It's another ridiculous story with the con artist, scumball, UFO profiteer at the heart of it, right? Sweet Caroline says, I highly recommend you watch this whole video, Wreaking Havoc 215. You'll be crying laughing. Well, I'm glad that everybody, had a good time. Solar Marshall says, the fakest story ever. I did a bunch of work on Jonathan Rudder, a.k.a. Jonathan Reed. I wish I would have known that, Solar Marshall. I would have had you come and be a guest tonight. I did my best, though. We covered the whole, all of this. So this guy lies You know how you know that this fake doctor, Jonathan Rudder, a.k.a. Jonathan Reed, is lying? You know he's lying when his mouth starts moving. Church claims to thoroughly look into his guests before the interview. Yeah. The lie detector determined that was a lie, Wreaking Havoc 215. And by the way, I want to talk to you off air because we're going to get with you to start looking into some of your claims. And we're also going to invite you here to Casa de Cambion, to my house, because I'd like to start having guests in person right in the studio when we do shows. You're local to me, so you're on my list to do that with. The Sixth Sense reminding people, please use caps for comments or questions. Yes, please do that. We would appreciate that very much. Yes, Lauren tried stand-up comedy in Austin for a while. Total loser. Yeah, her stand-up was really bad. Somebody sent me one of her links. And by the way, I encourage people to try things they've never tried. And if you have a dream in your heart, go try it. Don't let people tell you no. But just another attempt to find some kind of spotlight. And her comedy was pretty weak. Really, really weak, right? World in Chaos calls her a bonefish nut job. Well, yeah, I really don't know, right? I really I can't even comment on her, right? So Marshall says, I was at work, bro, till a half hour ago. Well, good, yeah. So we are going to find a musical guest. We haven't done that in a little while. And we're going to have a musical guest. And when we return, at least I thought we were going to. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting there's two, I have what we call brands here in StreamYard. And in one, I have all the stuff we started our show with. And then the other, I have all the newest stuff. So things are getting a little more complicated here. But, look, I'm going to use that line from Kari or Spooky. This is just another day in ufology. This level of stupid, childish, fake stories. It's just another fake story. So what can I say, friends? We're going to take a musical break. In the meantime, I encourage anybody, if you're feeling generous, get any of those pledges in, because we will be wrapping things up shortly after our musical guest. And our musical guest tonight will be Bong once again with their song, Those Who Pray. Some people prey on their listeners. Some people let their guests prey on their listeners. Yeah. What else can I say? So we'll take a short musical break. We'll be right back, friends.
Order
And we are back, friends. And I was reminded during the break that there was something that I indeed wanted to share with the live chat. So I forgot, but if you would like to see someone recreate shot for shot all of uh, Reed's fake evidence, I'm going to put it here in the live chat. In an episode of Fact or Fake, um, the whole crew recreated all the so-called evidence in this case. And we want to thank and recognize, I see that there, Lord, ooh, 1 second, Lord Ludicrous Plaid with a kind and generous $1.99 pledge of super chat, longtime show supporter, Lord Ludicrous. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. We have shared that additional resource. It's kind of laughable to see these guys. It's very enjoyable to see them kind of make fun of this, how hokey it is, and then I think that they created a better fake alien, and it's interesting to me to see, and to many people, it is interesting to see how people fake this stuff, and somehow create this so-called evidence. Uh, it's sort of behind the scenes of a hoax. You get to see how it was created. We want to thank Lord Ludicrous Plaid for his kindness, his generosity, and his support of the show, reminding you we read every single super chat, recognize, and thank everybody. Unlike other shows I see where they don't even thank anybody, let alone read them. We do. We read every single one. And we're thankful for each and every one of you kind and generous folks around the world helping us continue our journey and help us. Lord Ludicrous has been helping us for a long time, always throwing a couple of bucks in the hat and helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
So thank you, Lord Ludicrous. Much appreciated. So any more comments or questions for me, please put them in all capital letters. We still have lots of people watching. I do regret that this show has, this is way long. I keep saying I'm trying to get some of the shows down to an hour, but we don't. Lots to talk about, I suppose. But we do our best to compress it all in. To those that are truly interested, I get it. You got to you really have to want to know the truth, to sit through a few hours of somebody detailing. Oh, I got blurry like Bigfoot. There we go. All right. World in Chaos with a kind and generous $9.99 super chat says, great shows this month, bruv. Thanks. Well, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. It is always appreciated. Longtime show supporter and live chat attendee, World in Chaos 76. We want to thank you for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Here's what I want you to do. If the Lord is speaking to you, ushers, bring some baskets down. Just leave them there. I'm not finished. I got one more point to make. This is what I want you to do. Thank you, Miss Marguerite. I brought her because I want you to understand that the work must continue. This is not a plea for money. It's a plea for partnership so that we can be what we're supposed to be. I just need 497 people to say, I'll do 300.
Okay, we are back. So thank you, World Chaos. We recognize and thank you for your kindness and generosity and support of the show. Longtime show supporter. We love it. World in Chaos says, this is epic, Steve. I'll do 300 next time. I'll be waiting for that one. That'll probably be the biggest one we've ever gotten, right? I think the biggest we've ever gotten is $100, but we appreciate each and every one of you. I'd rather more people gave a couple of dollars than less, just have a few people that give big amounts. We love and appreciate all of you kind and generous people. Thank you. Sweet Caroline member says, we love your efforts, Stephen. And I love doing this. I was made for this. I have this uncanny ability to, I don't know, dig for the actual truth and evidence before telling people this is a true story, right? Lord Ludicrous commenting that there is just too much fraud to squeeze into an hour. I absolutely agree with that. Space Exposure says this is a plea for partnership. Laugh out loud. Yes, it is. I just need, this is not a plea for money, Space Exposure. This is a plea for partnership so we can continue to do this important work that we need to do. Yes. Mothership says, I love this. And laughing. And yeah, Sweet Caroline says, cutest little clown ever. He is very anxious for me to finish. We have new bumpers of him, and I got to get him done. Great. Patty M. Wilhelm is here. Longtime participant. We recognize you. I'm glad you're here, Patty. Says, love the chat. Great interaction. Yes, and I want to remind you, and maybe Sixth Sense can help me to remind you, that if you enjoy these live chats with our audience members, you don't have to only do it during our live broadcast, because we now have a Discord server where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can discuss these strange and esoteric topics with like-minded people and Truth Seekers audience members. We have different sections for all different kinds of conspiracies and aliens, and all of that is available on our Discord, and you may enjoy participating in the Discord. And Truth Seekers, Sixth Sense reminding everybody, Truth Seekers can also be found on Facebook. Mothership says, laughter is everything. World in chaos. After my own heart. This is great to remind people that super chats can go up to $499. I think they go higher than that. I'm pretty sure that I've seen people give huge super chats to some of these grifters, right? Joe K says, Stephen, have you been asked to be part of any upcoming documentaries? Well, thank you, member Joe K, for your kind question. And no, my phone has not rung. I'm not scheduled to be part of any. However, many of you know that I'm interested in producing some documentaries myself, and I continue every week. I water that garden a little bit, Joe K, to learn to produce documentary films. So every week I do a little bit more production. If I create a documentary, I want the production to be absolutely professional level, top notch, because I've seen too many guys try and their documentary looks like shit or sounds like shit. It looks like amateur hour garbage. I don't want to do that. So I have been trying to hone my video editing skills. And if all else fails, I'll just call Kari and say, here's the stuff, edit it. That's my secondary plan. But ask Kari. I'm real big on, I try to do it myself first. I don't like asking for help. That's one of my character flaws, probably, is that I'm stubborn and I don't like asking for help. Now, Kari is working on a docu-series project, and I gotta tell you, I've seen pieces of it. It is ridiculous good, and I'm sure that Kari has the skills to overcome my lack of skills, but I'm trying to build those skills. So there may be a documentary from Truth Seekers. We may do a series of documentaries, right? And World Chaos says PayPal is the way for big donations. Yes, friends, because I believe that YouTube takes a full 30% of all the super chats and super sticker money, and PayPal is significantly less. So we have in the past encouraged people to use PayPal for larger pledges of support for our show. Wow, this is so weird. That's weird. I was trying to get to PayPal. Just make sure we don't have any more on the way out. I always feel bad when somebody sends a super chat right at the end, or PayPal right at the end of the show, and we miss it. But if we do that, we call it out on the very next show. No, we're good. We are good. So we thank all of you kind and generous supporters. Lord Ludicrous says, I always laugh so hard during the rapid fire message read. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to figure out a better way to do this, right? I wish that I had a producer that could sit and just put the super chats on the screen while I'm doing the show, because if somebody else was popping the super chats up on screen, I would just see it and then I would read it. We're going to figure out a better way to do this. The other thing that I can do, and I haven't done this in a while, 1 second. We can do a pop-out chat, and then I can share that. I should be doing that during some of those presentations, right? And there's the pop-up chat, of course, so that we can recognize our supporters and people in the live chat. And we're moving on to more comments and questions, wrapping up the pretty clear-cut case of stupid stupid fake story from none other than the fake Dr. Reed, right? I'm a little bit behind in the chat. Yeah, the Sixth Sense is reminding everybody of the Discord that you too can join. And the Mothership is thanking everyone for being here. It's nice to be around friends. You are most welcome here. How is your show doing, Mothership Podcast? And why don't you come and be a guest here? And we'll do like a quick one night and just tell everybody about your podcast, how it's going, what you're working on. For those unaware, the Mothership Podcast was also known as Wild Ascension and did some of the David Wilcock editing and things and helped us here. And we're happy to see her off on her own, starting her own incredible journey into being a show host. Love to help those people. So hit me up and we'll see if we can't get you on the show and have you come here and talk up your show, and we'll see what help we could be. I wish you all the best of success. It's like sometimes people come and help me here and I go, you're way too talented to not do your own show. And I love to, when I see them go and do that. Proud of her. She's doing great. I hear. I caught the first couple and I haven't caught up. I'm going to go look into that after the show. I need to download Patreon, or I guess you mean Patreon? Yeah, the Mothership. David Wilcock gets his sock puppet accounts to donate thousands to himself each new live broadcast. A lot of people have mentioned that, right? Lord Ludacris said, Stephen is too honest to be in a documentary. They don't like that. Yeah, and Sixth Sense is reminding people of Kari's channel, who also went off and became a show host. And we wish Kari all the success in the world with her friends, those crystal hippie bitches. That from that one time I was abducted by aliens. There's Kari's Twitter, and be sure to check out that one time I was abducted by aliens podcast with Kari, now one of the co-hosts, right? And the Sixth Sense is sharing the Mothership Podcast link. We like it. Sweet Caroline says, this community is the best. Somebody mentioning that a certain Hoofon is brushing his tooth on TikTok live tomorrow morning. Okay. Yeah, I don't, honestly, that guy's already in my rear view mirror. I could give a shit with that guy. He does love to throw digs at me like I don't work hard enough. I don't do enough shows. He does more shows than me. Okay. That guy sleeps all day, the lazy slob. I actually take care of children from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. 2 of them, one of them being a special needs child. Ask anybody who has spent some time being a caretaker for a special needs child. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of, showing up. The first rule of being a good father is showing up. I always show up. I have my good days and I have my bad days, but I always show up. And every day I try to do my best. I keep trying to be better at being his caretaker. And it's summer. I'm the caretaker of both of them for the time being. But the good news is I think it's not next week, the week after, they're returning to school, which means that I should have a lot more time to do the show. The Mothership Podcast says, love to be a guest. Thank you. I got a job at Cracker Barrel, and now I'm managing many positions. But I will message you. I lost my glasses, but I'm going to get it. Thanks, friends. Oh, so nice. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you. And I liked your first couple of shows. You're doing a great job with the production, making me look like a slouch. Thanks. She's got really nice bumpers and music and stuff with her show. Looks a lot more professional than mine. I'm a little jealous, you know? Maybe should help me, right? Wreaking Havoc says this channel is a refreshing change to all the fakery and BS out there. Yeah, I thank you for your kind comment. Mysterious Oklahoma is saying you're a good man, Stephen, and thank you for that comment. But you know, I never want credit. You know, I don't like when people expect to get credit for doing things that they're supposed to do. Like, you ever hear somebody say, like, "Hey, I take care of my kids." You're supposed to. You're their parents. You know, like. But it is worthy of mention that when some other slob show host that lives in his parents' house, or I'm sorry, in a trailer in his parents' backyard, starts talking smack on me, he sleeps all day. He can do a show every day, and he does no work, no research, does not make any phone calls, doesn't provide any evidence. He just talks. So, of course, he can do 6 shows a week rambling about nothing, or just looking on Twitter. What's everybody talking about? Let's talk. Let me ramble about that for 2 hours and try to convince people that my opinion matters while I have no evidence, no research to show anybody, and I haven't investigated shit. But I'm going to tell you, you should just believe me because I say so. Trust me, dude. And working for hoaxers, right? Look, people would say whatever they want. I don't work for known hoaxers who got their entire platform by faking shit early on. Oh, but we're supposed to believe they don't fake things anymore. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And we caught them. But like I said, this clown is in my rear view, and we're going to be blowing right by that clown and his shit show. I don't care. King of Hugo Mundo. Good to see you again. I don't know that I have seen your name in the live chat for a while, but glad to see you. Says that disappearing and appearing with the audience going crazy. Too funny. Yeah, and it's a very obvious sound effect. It's not the real audience reaction because that never happened, right? Like water under a bridge at Truth Seekers. Yes, and by the way, I should remind everybody, you can follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion. That really does help if you want to know about the show, right? Sweet Caroline says, you're just a decent human being. That's how normal people are raised. Well, I had a lot of challenges growing up, Sweet Caroline, so I don't know if it's about how I was raised or just maybe, you know, I'm not going to get real personal, but like I try to be a really good father. I'm really trying because, you know, maybe at times my father was just not around. And in his defense, I'm not bitter or angry about it, though. I'm over it. But like in his defense, my father always worked 2 jobs. I don't even know why. I do know why. Because my father refused to not get the extras in life. You know, like he wants a boat or he wants a hot rod or whatever, and he didn't have the money for it. So he would work a second job so that he could do things like take us on vacations or to take us to amusement parks with the extra money that he made at the second job, or buy boats and rehab them. And so my father was just not around very much, and that affected me. I don't blame him, and I forgive him. He's passed on. But with my own children, I try to be there more. I'm trying my best, you know. But I got to say, I'm losing my patience. Like my level of patience for these children is really running out because it has been a rough couple of weeks with them both home. But I'm doing my best. They're alive. They're surviving. The missus is kind of like checking in on me and making sure everything's okay. And by the way, my wife is awesome and trying to make things as easy for me as possible. She's like pre-preparing lunch for them, and all I have to do is heat it up for them. And you know, even dinners. Today, they had pre-prepared lunch, pre-prepared dinner, so that really makes things easier. I try to cook a really nice meal every day, though, when my wife doesn't or there's not leftovers, so we're doing our best. And hey, Cosmic Neighbors is here. I'm going to punch him in the face because I'm still aggravating myself with 3D printing. By the way, Cosmic Neighbors, I have figured something interesting out. It'll print high. It just won't print wide. So right now, I'm trying to print an Archangel Michael statue that is almost 18 inches tall. And it seems it printed to 6-inch, then it printed to 12-inch. So I think it's going to print the 18-inch one. I'll let you know how that works out. And I did get your message about sending you this case that I want printed. This case, the one of them is so small, it might print on one of your printers. I'm going to send you the file. Just had a very busy day and haven't gotten around to correspondence yet today. Try to do that later at night. The Mothership Podcast, I think that is wonderful. Pre-cooked meals are hard to do for an entire family. Well, we always seem to manage. We have our go-to things. We have dirty rice mix. I think it's Zataran's dirty rice mix. You just put ground meat in this mix together and the kids eat it. Everybody likes it. Or Hamburger Helper. We have a lot of spaghetti with meat sauce that's easy to cook quickly. We have a lot of stir fries lately because I'm still on this diet. By the way, I think I'm up to 70 days without alcohol, which is a miracle being half Irish. Yes. Reek and Havoc says, you need to smash that 3D printer like Office Space. Yes, I believe that I do. I definitely believe that I have to do that. All right, so friends, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, but I thank and appreciate each and every one of you for being here in the live chat. It is much, much appreciated. And I have to say that based on the number of live viewers that we had versus the actual chat comments, there's a lot of lurkers. There's a lot of people that may have come here from being a Jimmy Church listener or follower. And if you did, I want to let you know that you are most welcome here. And, I'm not going to say anything else negative about Mr. Church, but I will say that if you're looking for the truth, that's not the place to be. That's not the guy to listen to. It can be proven that he helps garbage peddlers peddle their fake stories. We can prove that he has done so time and time again. I just want to mention that if anybody's lurking in the live chat, that you're welcome here too. We welcome believers, skeptics, and anyone in between. We believe in free speech here. There's another thing. If you say anything or question things in Jimmy Church's chat, you will be deleted or muted or not allowed to express your opinion. We're fine with people expressing their opinions here. Our only real rules are to no personal attacks, and especially don't go after people for being gay or a different race or trans or whatever. Don't discriminate against people. No personal attacks. But everybody's free to express their opinion. If you think I'm stupid and this whole story is 100% true, you're free to say it in the live chat. If you think I'm wrong on a research point, I've been corrected here. We love that we have a free speech zone here. And by the way, there was a mistake. A mistake was made recently that somebody was muted or a comment was deleted on yesterday's show. That was completely on accident. And we apologize to that person. We do not censor free speech here. So all you lurkers, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you really want the truth behind these stories, Jimmy Church is not the guy to give it to you. But we do our best to get to the truth behind these stories. We have facts, we have evidence, we have well-researched stories, we have a lot of legwork to make this work. And we don't just sit there and do the softball UFO circle jerk like some people do, letting people tell their fake stories. If somebody has a fake education and I interview them, I'm going to ask them about their fake education. Not Jimmy Church, not some of these other UFO circle jerkers, and they know the guy's fake. This guy was fake as a $3 bill, and people know it, but they know they can make money off of this garbage peddling, so that's what they do. They peddle the garbage, friends. So, I am going to bounce on out of here, friends, and I got to tell you, it has been a long day for me, so I'm going to try to get some rest, and we will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with another live Truth Seekers event. And tomorrow night is going to be fun. You definitely want to be here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are most welcome to be here tomorrow night for another Truth Seeker show, even though some lazy slob hosts that sleep all day and work for hoaxers and lie to their audience, lie through their teeth. Oh, wait, they don't have teeth. Well, they lie through their mouth. They lie through their fake mouth. Wait, their mouth's not fake. They lie through their lips. They lie through their lips and their fake teeth to their audience, calling other people out for fakery and fraudery, but not their own employers who they work for, the biggest fraudster hoaxers in this thing, third phase of fake. Those people can, slag on me for being lazy. I don't do enough shows. Listen, I only do shows if I have done work worthy of doing a show. I don't just go babble for 2 hours like some people that are on the take, right? That work for hoaxers. But like I said, some things you just have to put in your rear view mirror, friends, because those people, they can't go where you're going. You have to leave them in your rear view mirror. And that's what I'm content to do. So I did mention a lot about Jimmy Church and what all this mess and the fact that he's now dragging Christina Gomez into this, because now she has to sit there and act like she doesn't know that he's platforming this level of fake story and that he's pushing this completely and totally fake doctor, calling him doctor through a 2-hour interview and planning on do part 2. She has to keep her mouth shut about all of this. And I would submit to everyone within the sound of my voice that if you truly, I've heard of, there are some other show hosts that claim they are Christina Gomez's friend. How many of you have gone to her and told her that taking all of the benefit of Jimmy Church's help and him giving her radio show deals and pulling her close to him may not be good for her? How many of you people who claim to be her friend have expressed real concern that she has to sit there and keep her mouth shut while Jimmy Church is pushing this level of garbage out into the community, this level of fake, provably fake stories out into the community? Have any of you people who claim to be Christina Gomez's friend got her aside and said, maybe, just maybe, you don't want to work for somebody who is going to muzzle you and make you keep your mouth shut about all the dirty dealings in order to keep those benefits that you're reaping from your association with slimeball co-host extraordinaire of hers, Jimmy Church? I mean, it's unfortunate. This girl is a young girl. And, speaking as a father, if I was her father, I would want somebody to go to her and say, you can't continue to keep your mouth shut while this guy is doing this and maintain any 1% degree of credibility. In order for you to just keep getting these benefits, do you really think you got to just, that it's a good idea to just keep your mouth shut about what your co-host is doing, about the garbage peddling your co-host is involved with, his history of peddling garbage? Does she really think it's a good idea that it makes her look credible, that she has to sit there? I guarantee she's not going to comment on any of this. She can't, or she'll lose whatever it is that she's getting from Jimmy Church. And Jimmy Church is using her to try to stay relevant to young viewers. That, my friends, is my speculation and my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Now, there have been various people who told me that she's learning disabled and may have other mental, I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but maybe, just maybe, it's not her fault. Maybe she's being taken advantage of. I don't know what the whole story is. But the fact that she has to sit there next to this guy and pretend that none of this is going on makes her part of the cover-up. And I'm going to pray for her, that she gets out from under the dark influence of this guy who is willing to put forth this kind of nonsense, garbage, fake information. I'm going to pray that she finds her way, that she finds some conscience and, evaluates whether it's a good idea for her to continue to keep her mouth shut about all this so that she can continue to get all the benefits that she gets from that guy. I mean, maybe she likes stupid, lazy viewers who just like fairy tales, and she's willing to take all the benefit, but, you can't ignore all this, honey. It doesn't look good on you to continue to ignore all this stuff that your co-host is willing to do. And is this what he is teaching this young girl, this young impressionable girl? Like, here, Christina Gomez, this is how you make money at this. This is how you become successful. You peddle garbage. I don't think it's right. And I worry about her. Truly, I'm being honest here. Like, you know, it's not right to expect some young girl just starting out in this so-called business to just keep her mouth shut about all of this, so that Jimmy Church can. He's apparently getting something, some benefit, right? He's got to be getting something from her to be giving her radio show deals or whatever else he's giving her, subscribers. And of course, she claimed, "Oh no, I didn't get any. I didn't get all my subscribers from Jimmy Church." We can look at the metrics before Jimmy and after Jimmy and see huge difference there. He's feeding her because he needs another echo chamber. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if this complete and total fake fraud doctor ended up on her show getting an interview with her, because they like to bounce each other, these fake guests around, and then that reinforces the lie. These lies, all these garbage peddlers all help each other reinforce each other's bullshit stories. That's how this works. All right. So it's been a long day, friends. And apparently it's going to be a long night because I have some editing and some other things to do for tomorrow night's show, but I'm looking forward to it. Please be sure to join us again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's it, friends. That's all we got for you tonight. And I hope to see you again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion, reminding you that the truth is sometimes hard to get to, but it's still worth getting to. Good night, friends, and God bless all of you.